Hi all, welcome back to another episode.
Hey, welcome back. I really started this shit. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
welcome back. Doesn't
Yeah,
that sound creepy?
I'm it's Taco Tuesday today, and
What was
before I came out, there's a Mexican restaurant near our house, and I had a lot of tequila there.
Taco Tuesday and tequila.
Yeah, no,
Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba.
I had a lot of tequila today. I actually did, and I'm at the point now where it's like I don't feel drunk anymore. I just have a headache and I feel sick. It's basically I stayed up long enough to go from like drinking to hungover.
Yeah,
Like I've done that. You've seen me do that.
yeah.
Like there's been multiple moments where I'm at Dee's house because I have a bottle of whiskey. I leave here. Oh, excuse me. I leave here now, and
Whiskey.
I've drank, and I've actually skipped the drunk process and just went from like drinking to hungover without the fun. It's kind of like lighting fireworks in the daytime. It's the best way to describe that feeling to people.
Well,
Like you don't get any of the fun of a firework in the daytime. Not really. Like light a sparkler in the daytime, you'd be like, wee. It's not that fun. You don't get the cool trail when you spin it around in circles and whatnot. It's just kind of like
I mean that's why you got to use it
just
at
being
night.
sad.
At
No,
dark
but
room.
that's what drinking and just getting hungover is like. It's like using a firework in the daytime is what I'm saying. Like it crackles, but you don't see anything. You're like, all right. Drinking in the daytime is like your parents saying they bought you fireworks and they come home with just pop pops or poppets or whatever they're called.
Well, technically those are fireworks.
Those are boring.
They pop.
They're boring.
They have gunpowder.
They're boring.
So
They're so boring. Nothing about them is fun. At least with like a sparkler, you can kind of like spin it in a circle and that's fun. Like at least you can try to write your name
you're
with
equating
the trail.
sparklers to a popper.
Well, because that's the other boring firework. Like, I mean, if I gave you a sparkler and an aerial, you'd be like, let's light that aerial with the sparkler. You know what I mean? Like, the sparkler is just there compared to an aerial. I've never met a person yet who's been like, I only like sparklers. Well, I guess there are people out there like that.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? What was that convention? I mean, there's a convention for furry people called Rainforest. Then there has to be people who like just sparklers. Yeah, you never heard of that?
I don't want to know about it.
Oh man, J-Bay showed me that guy, the one he was talking about with like the Olympic flame and whatnot.
I don't want to know about it. It's
Oh,
fine.
it's great.
I'm fine without it.
They were putting poop on everyone's cars. They ruined like the people who went to the convention ruined the convention. Usually when a convention's ruined, it's the moderators and the organizers who ruined it.
Yeah.
No. It was the people who went there. They kept pooping in diapers and putting on people's cars. And then whenever they tried to find a new hotel, somebody in that convention kept writing to the hotels, telling them, if you allow us to go to your hotel, I will destroy your hotel. So no hotel took them again. And people, like a lot of people really did enjoy it, but like some people just wanted to destroy it for fun.
Yeah, because that's for whatever reason they want to do. That's their
Yeah,
version of furry.
Yeah, if they wanted just, I mean, look, I find them to be pieces of shit, but what am I gonna do to stop them?
Because I think there was a convention called FurryCon.
I'm willing to go to one. Just I've never been to one before. I'm not a furry, but hey, if I can go to a place where a bunch of people are just happy to be there, that'll make me happy. I think so. I would like to go to what was it? There was a convention for Tumblr called DashCon, and it failed from the start. Like nobody showed up. They didn't have any money for the hotel, so they actually asked the people who were there to help them basically kickstart immediately $17,000.
Well, I mean, that's
And
the thing.
then
Like, why are you trying to hold a convention for something where...
and you have nothing there. Like
Yeah.
like the private exclusive ball pit was a small ball pit in the middle of the convention hall with there's nothing else there. People basically spent money to hang out in a tiny ball pit and that was it.
Yeah, but you could make your own tiny ball pit with an inflatable pool and
Dude,
balls,
Coney
and it'll cost you
2012
20
was a
bucks.
more organized situation, and that guy went crazy halfway through, stripped naked, and started doing calisthenics in public, drinking an entire gallon of milk. And like Coney 2012 is still a much better, like I would call like gathering of people than DashCon.
Well, I mean, some cons they're kind of shit to
Get
begin with. Like originally, like a lot of the YouTubers when they're doing VidCon, it wasn't. It was like a lot of them are saying it wasn't anything like flashy, like like going to like PAX and stuff like that, where everything is like super organized because they've been doing it a while. But VidCon has been getting better since, and a lot of the YouTubers have been going back. But
I don't think I'd ever like as a YouTuber or a podcaster or whatever we are, an internet personality. I don't think I'd ever go as M.
well, but if we go to Comic Con, you said you're gonna dress up as M because you don't want people to know who you are.
Well, yeah. But that's if we're like
And like I said,
ever doing panels. But I
I
don't.
said, I'd point you out to everybody.
Oh, then I'm never going. Guaranteed. Sorry, fans. All two of you.
It's that guy over there with the thing on his head.
I'd probably do what Daft Punk did, where everyone thought that like Daft Punk didn't actually show up to anything. They just hire people to wear their costumes and go out for them, but they never leave their house. I probably would do that.
That would actually be kind of hilarious.
Like whichever friend wants to go up, just it's your turn now. Wear this platypus mask and just say that you are here in behalf of M. All
Yeah, but
questions
if we
could be
gotta,
directed to you, and then have people just ask you questions.
and then I'm gonna start messing with the guy who's with me and go, oh, so what do you think, Em?
Yeah, no, consistently. No, that'd be great. I mean, we already put it out there, so people are. Well, you never know. I could actually be there. You don't know this. I'll probably just be in the crowd. I'll probably go up and ask a question.
That's where you just.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't.
That's where you just record yourself talking and then just have it play back. That like if we go to any conventions, that's how you.
Oh
Always
yeah,
answer
no, but like
questions.
I'll only record like four lines.
No, but think about it, if you do it that way. Like you don't actually physically talk. You just record everything and you just answer. And then after that, if somebody wants to play you, they just do the same thing. Just record your stuff and just play it into the mic. They never actually have to talk.
That's true.
So you could always do that.
Or no, I was gonna do it like that, Punk, where like whenever they win an award, it's just the robots would like to say, thank you to everybody who's helped them. Yeah, there we go. Super simple, extremely easy, little effort on my part, and
God,
I can enjoy the convention.
See, bringing up Daft Punk, all I keep thinking about when they're messing around, or that joke one where they're talking about burgers and.
Oh, that
nuggets.
wasn't them. Though.
I know.
Yeah, that was two comedians pretending to be them.
It was like that's what I'm thinking about. Burger,
Like,
nugget.
um,
French
we
people.
recorded half a podcast earlier, but we didn't have the time to finish it. We probably would like start it up again, but in that podcast we were talking about countries and whatnot, and one of the things I was saying is that I don't normally bring up things I don't like from countries just because it gets political quickly.
Yeah, of course.
France is one of those countries where like I would love to say some things, man, but I just can't. Nothing against Macron right now or anybody there. It's just the whole idea of stuff. If you want to know my views, you can look up who's that guy who does the Daily Show now?
Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah. You can look up Trevor Noah's thing about the French government and when they went after him. That's literally my problem with France.
I think it was actually kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean he's a hilarious guy. It's just and he speaks Xhosa, which is the clicking language that I want to learn. But we don't live anywhere near people who can speak it to me.
That's true too.
I mean, it's not far. I mean, I guess I do because I do have a South African neighbor.
Yeah.
And I have a German neighbor, so I should probably just pick a language, either Afrikaans or German, and I can just use them to help me. Oh, bless you. I can just use them to help me out with that. But the topic we were going to discuss today, because I've been playing a lot of Tekken, was fighting games because I know your brother is really big in fighting games. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because that's one of the major ones that kind of started more to me. The started a community of like-minded people in terms for like video games, because that was one of the more ones where you had to, because before online play and all that, there was no again, you have to literally be in the arcade standing next to the person you're fucking playing against.
Yeah.
So
He didn't answer the question, but the answer was yes. Yes, his brother is a fan of those games.
no, I mean, again, the only reason I say it, it's yeah, he is, but it's also because of the community behind it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like because yeah, I honestly like the fighting game community. Like for the most part, they're not. It's not so much like fanboyish or anything like that. It's they're very they try to be as objective as possible when it comes to like the community and stuff like that. So you're not trying to like discriminate against like one particular game or anything like that. So they try to include everybody, which I like.
I mean, we do all discriminate against one game in the fighting game community, though. Like nobody considers like Super Smash Brothers as a fighting game. That is technically a discrimination against one game. But besides
No,
that,
no,
like
the
I've
fighting game
never.
community they have been valid reasons coming up, and yeah, it makes sense, and a lot of the community does say so. The only thing that I don't tend to agree with is the fact that if I could be just spitballing, again, this is my opinion on it, but I usually see in order for some of the guys to be really good, they data mine it, so it's like so you can see how fast like each pixel goes and everything like that, and it's just like so in order to be good at this game on what you would consider a pro level, you have to do stuff like that
See, I'm the same way
to
though
play good.
in Tekken.
Like
Like I time out. Like my favorite character right now is Julia because they brought her back from like Tekken 3. And I loved her in Tekken 3 because she's super like hippie and fights for the forest and whatnot, and she's completely adorable. And now the game is based off of timing,
well, I
so
mean,
I kind of like do that now too, where I know which moves. Like if somebody does a kick, and both of us are at like the last little inch of bar left in our health, I know what moves will do what, and I also time like the damage that they do.
no, but see that's the part where you're doing it based off of playing, not you're not plugging it into a computer going, okay, this is what the animation looks like. This is when I should do it. This is how fast it goes versus other
Oh, if
animations,
I
stuff like
had the
that.
time to do that, I would.
No, but that's the whole thing
Like I
that
don't. The only reason I don't data mine is because I have no time on my
no,
hands to
but
do that.
it's one of those things now that I feel is something wrong with the community, and a lot of like the old school fighting game community kind of feels the same way, where if you're data mining to get like that fraction of a second versus actually figuring it out while you're playing, like kind of it doesn't really do anything. Plus the fact that you have everybody playing online now, and all these guys that are saying they're good. Some are really good, and of course, you're not going to win. You're not going to win everything, but then you have a good handful of people that whenever they start to lose, they disconnect from the match just so they don't fucking take a loss. And it's just like so that it's one of those things which is one of those things where which is I like that arcade aspect where you're fighting against each other. You know what each other looks like, and there's no
Okay,
I'm
okay.
losing. I'm gonna disconnect. Like no, no,
I
no.
see. I
Like
see that in a lot of the games too. Actually, like Soul Calibur, a lot of people did that to me when I played
yeah, no,
online.
but any online game, and any online fighting game now, be it like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, all of that, they always have a handful of people that do that because these are the same people that are going, yeah, I'm really good at this game, and then it's like, look at my record. Okay, so you have like 100% win rate. Why? Because you disconnect when you're about to lose, so it doesn't
Yeah.
count. So it's like that's not 100% win rate. Because if you look at a popular name that anybody within the fighting game community should know is Daigo. His clip from I think it was 90 no, was it 2004 Evo where they were playing Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. He literally was one hit away from losing, and he beat the other player. But Daigo is considered one of the better players in the world. and he even streams and stuff like that on YouTube. He does like videos and stuff like that. But when he's playing, he's not. He's still playing to figure out the character. He's still playing to see what he can do with the character, and if he wins, he wins. If he loses, he loses. It doesn't matter as far as what your win record could be, because there are times where I've even seen pro players lose to amateurs because amateur players don't normally do things how like a pro player would do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it throws them off. So, but that's the part that gets me. It's like how can you like for those that claim to be good in online matches? It's like you're going off of a win rate. It doesn't make a difference. It's like having like a great KD ratio in fucking FPS. It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Like
I just
I'm decent in Tekken. I'm not gonna say
yeah.
I'm the best. I have a above average, above 75% win rate.
No, I mean don't get me wrong. Yeah, of course you want to
I'm
win.
not gonna be in the 90s, but
Yeah.
I know.
No, but of course you want to win. That's the whole point of the fighting game is like I want to win, but at the same time, if you're not learning why you're losing, you're never going to improve. If you're losing and you go, oh, I'm not going to lose, and you disconnect, and you're just like you're looking just for people to like just beat on and be like, oh yeah, I can beat anybody. It's like you're not improving yourself. You're not improving how you play. You're not figuring out what flaws you have. Because then once somebody figures out the flaw, like somebody that actually plays heavily and sees what you're doing and figures out how to beat you at your own game, it's like you could take all this time from going, yeah, I'm 100% win rate person to oh, I've lost like a handful, but I've learned how to overcome what my shortcomings were, and I'm a better, well-rounded player versus oh yeah I can be like highly offensive or highly defensive but I can't switch between the two, whereas like you have again I go back to Daigo because he's one of the more well-known ones. He played Guile, which a lot of people would consider in Street Fighter like a could be highly offensive, could be highly defensive, could be considered a turtle character because a charge character, stuff like that. But from his, he was a highly aggressive Guile player that at the time not a lot of people saw. So it was actually really interesting because nobody knew how to really counteract that because he was one of the few that was like always on the go, and he could literally be walking towards you and still throw a sonic boom, which at the time is really, especially in arcade, is really a skill that not a lot of people have because it's
Yeah, because that's a quarter turn.
no, you have to charge it. Guy was always a charge character. So
Oh,
you're
is he?
walking forward. You have to
I
technically
know. I
charge
never
back
played
two
Guile, so.
seconds to be able to throw the But he's able. He knows a way. He's figured out a way, especially even like an arcade stick, to be able to walk forward and still be able to throw a fireball as he's walking forward with a charge character. So that's why it's a little bit scary from that standpoint, where even figuring out how to do it, it takes a long time to be able to master it properly.
I know it's weird because I've played Mortal Kombat. That was my first game, and I was pretty good at that when I was a kid. I mean, of course, like I'm not the best, but I couldn't play Street Fighter the same. Like I don't know. I get the controls aren't super dissimilar from each other. The only differences are defense.
Yeah.
Blocking, how blocking works. Either pushing back or pushing a button.
Yeah, but the part is pushing the button always got to me because since I started on other games like Street Fighter, like other even Tekken and stuff like that, where you just hold back versus I have to push a button, I'd always forget about pushing the button. So that's the part that always kind of threw off how I would play. So
Yeah, you just gotta change your fighting style in that game.
yeah,
I
but
think
then
that's
most
the
times
reason
it's
why I
kind of
liked
like
it. It was because like it was different.
yeah,
You
but
know.
to
Oh,
me
also
Mortal Kombat
too.
wasn't my
Oh,
favorite.
what was that game? The one with what's her name? Jade? No,
That's Mortal Kombat.
no. It was a girl in green.
You mean Orchid?
Orchid.
That's
There we go.
Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct. I only played as Orchid because her finisher was just show her tits.
Combo breaker.
But like, I don't know. I really enjoyed this game a lot.
Well, I mean, to me,
Um,
that's why I like games like Street Fighter. Well, I mean, personally, my favorite I do like Alpha 3, do like Street Fighter Third Strike, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Those are always like my favorite styles, like King Fighters, Guilty Gear. Blaze Blue to me, I think was I'm not shitting on Blaze Blue, but I think Blaze Blue is more of a simplified version of Guilty Gear. Granted, they're made by the same company, and then even like Dragon Ball Fighters, I like the style. I like how it plays. Like that's the kind of style I prefer to like play versus like I mean don't get me wrong like I enjoy Tekken, I enjoy like Killer Instinct stuff like that, but it's that is not my cup of tea in like the that style.
Mm.
So,
I
but
think the only reason why I got into King of Fighters is because of Metal Slug.
oh, SNK, great games, man.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that King of Fighters was.
Or even like SNK versus Capcom, that was they gotta remake that. That's such a good game.
Well, I didn't remember. I didn't know that King of Fighters was with Metal Slug. I didn't know they were the same game. So when
Well,
somebody told
same
me like, "Oh,
company.
these two, Ralph and this one is from King of Fighters," I was like, "Oh, really? What is that?"
Well,
And,
technically they were in a game previously. It was called the Ikari Fighters.
but they are in King of Fighters, right? As well.
Yeah, so the original game that they started with essentially was on the Nintendo. It was still an SNK game, but it was Ikari Fighters, which is why in King of Fighters they were known as the Ikari Team because they were based off of that. And then later incarnations they did add like Leona, Ralph and Clark to Metal Slugs and stuff like that after the fact. But it wasn't. They weren't like a starting thing in Metal Slug. Like they came in. I think it was like Metal Slug Double X and stuff like that. That's when they added them in. So it was they were never like part of the original, but you figure like you look at most of the characters from like King of Fighters. A lot of them, yes, they originated from SNK games. Like you have Terry, Andy, and Joe, which are from like Art of Fighting. Um, you have ones now where they're doing like cross games like that wouldn't technically make sense. Would be like Samurai Showdown. They added into a couple of the King of Fighters games and stuff like that. But they're all SNK games. I think the one they didn't really do a massive crossover with was World Heroes, one of their earlier games. That one was a great fighting game as well. But I haven't seen them really take any characters. I could be wrong on this, but I haven't seen them take any other characters from World Heroes and put them in other games, especially like King of Fighters. And King of Fighters, again, they've tried to span across a lot of different ones. So you have Art of Fighting. You got new characters coming out. They always make new stuff. Then you have the one specific to King of Fighters. Then they're doing the cross platform with Samurai Showdown, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. And then but that's the thing I like most about like certain fighting games, especially like SNK fighting games, is they can actually wrap the entire story. Like with King of Fighters, it was actually originally based around the art of fighting, and it evolved into King of Fighters because
Mm.
it was the same thing like the tournament.
Yeah.
So that's how they kind of brought other people in from other gaming series into the King of Fighters, and it like so everything kind of rounds out. It's actually really cool. I like how they kind of do their stories like that. So
Oh. See, I wasn't like. Well, you see, the hardest thing is that okay. So to our fans, like I'm not a video game player per se, and I'll play for a bit, then I stop and I'll go read a book or something. That's just how I am. Or I'll read some manga, watch a movie.
just read something in general.
Yeah, I do other things. Or if I am playing a video game, I'm like playing and watching a movie at the same time, and I'm mostly involved in the movie. So I don't know a lot about these stuff. Like I played Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, like the main series that everyone has played.
Hmm.
But like what you said to me, you lost me for a while. I was like, I didn't even know these games existed
Well,
when
because
you
you
were
gotta go.
talking about
Yeah, I
them.
mean, because you gotta go back and look at some of
Like I
the
played
older
King of
styles.
Fighters, but I played like one game out of the series because it was cheap at like a GameStop or not. It wasn't even GameStop. There was another gaming store that I don't want to plug, but there's another gaming store near my house,
Was it?
and yeah, and like it was cheap there. I'll
Hmm.
tell you the gaming store when we're done. You know it, but the only reason I don't want to bring it up because it's like it kind of plugs where my house would be located if they look this up.
Fair
That's why
enough.
I don't want to play. You know what I mean? But yeah, no. I would go there. It was just super cheap, the King of Fighters, and I only liked King, my favorite character.
Who is from Art of Fighting?
That was from Art of Fighting.
Yeah,
I just thought they named him King or her King
her.
because of the game's name. Like I'm waiting for a guy named Tekken to be in Tekken.
So yeah, I mean, like if you look at
Like which character are you choosing? I'm choosing Street Fighter.
the
Like that's just his name.
yeah, well, see, the only reason again because so again the King of Fighters is a tournament name. It's not so much the
Well, yeah. So is Tekken. Wasn't Tekken the tournament name?
yeah, but it's King of because Tekken means King of the Iron Fist
Yeah.
in
So
Japanese. So
like that's just kind of like what it is, right? So
yeah,
what if they just like named him that? Like his name is Street Fighter. He's basically the Mokujin of the game. Where if you guys don't know, Mokujin was this wood character who
pretty
was
much
yeah he was basically like if you wanted to pick random,
without
but
picking random.
yeah without picking random and
Well, I
if you want to
mean,
pick random and have a story mode attached to random,
no, it's not. It's not
the
so much
thing
that. I would say it's more the fact that
because he was
every round it changed versus if you just pick random, you're with that same character for the 2 rounds or 3 rounds, however many you
yeah
play.
and you
Whereas
don't
Mokujin
know
always switched every round.
and you don't know who you picked unless you memorize the intro to each person or their fighting stance.
Pretty much.
Because it's basically like a wooden punching bag that came to life. It's basically its story, and it goes out
Yeah.
and all it's trying to do is find a girlfriend. That's literally the whole storyline. I think they changed it to Combot or something like that in the fourth game and fifth game.
Yeah, but see, that's the part where it didn't make too much sense to me because that's the whole point of the character was the fact that he was a training dummy.
Yeah.
Like he's literally just a wooden training dummy.
If you played Skyrim, whenever you or any of the Elder Scrolls games, really, um, actually not any of the Elder Scrolls games, specifically Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. If you go into the Fighters Guild, it basically looked like that creature, and not creature, but that sword testing dummy thing in the Fighters Guild in Oblivion.
Yeah.
It's just wooden head, torso, arms, legs, and that's it. But man, it was just like I think I like Tekken's side stories better. Like you have a girl named Lily, who's from France, moved to Japan, because her dad got a lucrative deal with this Japanese guy, and he was going down there, and they were living there for a while.
Wait, what? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And all they did was fight. Like all she loves to do is like there's a girl named Asuka Kazama, and all Lily loves to do is use her money to piss off Asuka Kazama. So Asuka's Asuka, yeah, Asuka's whole thing is that she stops these rival gangs from fighting in her streets and this and that. So Lily would like spend some money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of her money, to hire people to pretend to start a fight so she could break it up before Asuka does, for shits and giggles, just to piss off Asuka and make her think that she's not worthy anymore. And like her butler just loves her. Like this thinks it's like, oh, she has a new friend. I'm so happy for her. And that's the whole storyline. It's amazing. And there's a Chinese girl, and she's best friends with a panda, and they like to go on roller coaster rides. And she's like in love with Jin Kazama, which is another character in the game. Asuka and Jin are related by like triple, like three cousins, twice removed kind of deal. There's a Filipino girl. I don't know her backstory, but I always play as her because she kind of played like Brian Fury, which is a robot human, something like that.
Cyborg.
Yeah, cyborg. There we go. Because this guy would like carry reinforced steel beams and hit you with it for fun.
It was also part of because it was supposed to be like the government experiment thing.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Paskanovich. Oh, there's a robot that's in every game but sucks in every game.
Oh hell no!
You like Jack?
Dude, I've seen Jack like great, dude.
Maybe
I'm not
don't
even kidding.
Let's not say it like that.
No, but I've seen Jack players like they like in tournaments like he can decimate.
Yeah.
If played properly, it's just most people that play him don't play him properly.
I don't know how to play him then because I mean I know he's really good at juggling. I know he's really good at juggling.
So I've seen people like just get destroyed by them.
But I like faster characters than him.
Yeah, but usually the problem with that one is the faster characters hit
Oh,
lighter.
Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan are in the game as Law and Lei Wulong, respectively.
Yep.
Um, they got a Muay Thai fighter in there that's just badass in general.
They
Um,
added him in later.
Bruce.
Yeah, they added him in later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Filipino girl isn't until 7.
Yeah, so like the
Lily is also from, I think, 5 or
yeah,
6.
5 or 6.
Asuka is from 5 or 6. Definitely 6 for sure. Both of them are definitely 6 for sure.
No, 2005. She
2005.
was in Tekken 5.
Hey, there we go. And then you have. Oh, I'm trying to think of like really good characters that like I want to tell you guys about. Oh, Raven was in 4, and Raven's basically if Blade was an international spy instead of a half vampire hunter. Um, and that's his whole story, and it's amazing. I don't want to tell you guys the whole story just because of the fact that like you should probably get the game and play it. It's worth the play.
That's right. Jun Kazama was in 2.
Jin?
Jun.
Jun, yes. Yes, the Jun Kazama is Kazuya's wife, Heihachi's daughter-in-law,
Jin's mother.
Jin's mother, and Jinpachi's great or granddaughter-in-law.
Something like that.
Oh yeah, there's an entire family that has a demon in them, but apparently the mom has an angel in her. But and like the demon doesn't come from Heihachi's side. It came from Kazuya's mom's side. Something like that.
No, because Jinpachi was a Mishima, and he had the demon.
Oh, he did too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the both sides are just evil.
It was supposed to skip generations, but that was the part they couldn't figure out why it went to Jin after the fact.
Yeah, because it's
Because it was
definitely
Jinpachi,
Kazuya.
it skipped Heihachi, then it went to Kazuya, and then they don't know why it went to Jin. Especially since Kazuya was still alive too.
Oh, is it like the Avatar where like?
No, like because they were looking at it like because looking at the lineage and stuff like that, it would always they were able to figure out it will always like skip a generation or go to like the essentially like the what they would consider the next strongest. But the thing was with Jin, because he wasn't fully using the Mishima Zaibatsu like Kazuya and Heihachi and stuff would. So that was the part they couldn't figure out why he was chosen after the fact because it didn't
The
make
Zaibatsu is
sense.
the company, right?
Well, the fighting style. Well, the Zaibatsu, yeah, but there was
The Mishima fighting style.
Because he would mix it with Jun's.
Yeah.
That's why Jin's one is a little bit weirder. It's not as it's not as hard hitting as I would say as Kazuya's and Heihachi's.
Also, too, there's a lot of them that are based off of real fighting styles in the game are real. Like a lot of their moves are realistic. People can do it. And then you have some people like the Mishimas, Jin, Kazuya, Heihachi, where there's a lot of YouTube channels where these people are black belts and all of these things, 6th, 7th, 8th level black belts, and they watch this gameplay. They watch just that family fight, and they're like, no, nobody can spin in the air like that, spin on the ground, come back up and kick. They're like, that's not real. But then they like try to do other ones. I think they did.
Actually no. Some of them not like being able to do like subsequent like 3-4 hits and then come back up.
Oh no, like 1-2 that makes sense. But like
because I've seen people do that.
Like the real but it's not realistic compared to like the if you look at it as a whole. Like if you want to be the purist and look at it as a whole, like the full movement, that's impossible. You could do 1 or 2 maybe, but I like the axe kick. Like if I could,
That's a real thing you can do.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I want to stretch every day.
So you want to do a
just so
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well I
that's
mean,
smart.
I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's the guy's like the best dancer in the world. Whoever said martial artists can dance obviously didn't watch Kickboxer.
Who's drunk?
Yeah, just doing that weird snap dance, honest, like I danced when I was younger, and even I was like, no, that's not dance. I mean, I don't shout people's dance moves, man, but that was just weird looking. He looked uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, because he was supposed to be drunk,
Like
so it didn't.
everyone,
So on his part, it didn't actually really matter.
he was supposed to be drunk in that scene.
Yeah, because that was the one he was. The master took him to the bar, and he was just like drinking, and he was having him drink because he wanted to see how well he could still fight. Like if his shit was impaired, like taking the amount of hits and stuff like that. So and that was the one where the master walks over and tells them something like along the lines of, oh, like he's looking at all your women and he's trying to like hit on all your women and he wants to like take all of them from you and da 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 while he's just dancing, like he's not even doing anything, he's just literally like they're playing music, he's like, oh, and he just gets up and starts dancing with somebody, and like one of the girls joins him, and then the master says something, and that's when everybody else jumps in and then starts to fucking fight him, but he's still, even though he's drunk, everything is muscle memory, and he still beat the shit out of everybody. Like that was the whole point of the scene. It was, can have you trained enough to the point where even if your judgment is impaired, even if you're impaired, you can still fight, because it all comes down to the muscle memory part. Like so that part that happened. But yeah, he was drunk when he was dancing in that scene, or supposed to be drunk. Anyway.
Yeah.
But that scene was like fucking hilarious.
I want to see someone fight like Xiao Yu. That's how you pronounce your name. I think that's how you pronounce your name.
Xiao Yu's is based off of Shaolin monks.
Yeah, I wanna see that in an actual fight, like in like an MMA fight or something like that. Like a professional fight, but it's actually mixing. Like I've trained all my life in one martial art, and I've done the same thing in a different martial art. Let's fight each other.
But that's the thing, you can't technically do it in UFC or anything, because that's all mixed martial
arts.
Well,
no. But I was using UFC as an example of a professional fight kind of thing. I just couldn't think of the name professional fight, but it was just a placeholder word. But I want to see that.
That's the thing, they wouldn't, especially because they usually do the stuff like the Phoenix dance and stuff like that for like training exhibitions. Like they do train like that, but I don't know if it's practical or not. Potentially it is, but they like, because it's taught to monks, they're not actively going out there to start fights. They're doing it to
protection.
It's more defensive for them, anyways. It's not meant to. They're not trying to go out and pick fights with people and stuff like that.
There's some martial arts like I wouldn't understand, like in video games. Like you could never put like Aikido in there, like pure Aikido.
Well, because that one is just purely defensive.
Yeah. It'd be I block the whole time, and then I never punch back.
Well, I mean, you could still.
I mean, I don't know if anybody out there does Aikido. Like both of us, like we know a good amount of martial arts. Like I've boxed most, like for a good chunk of my life.
That's why I like King.
Oh, King is the best. King's a wrestler that wears a jaguar mask and growls, and he never actually says words. He just growls like a jaguar, which made me think when I was a kid that it was just a jaguar with a human body.
And then you have Armor King.
Because like this game has an actual panda, a living wood, like a man.
Well, a bear and a panda.
A bear, a dinosaur, and a kangaroo. So a half jaguar, a man with a jaguar head wasn't that far-fetched for this fucking game. I'm gonna be real honest.
And then you had Yoshimitsu, who was...
Yoshimitsu's a fucking alien, a bug alien from space.
Well, in the first one he was not considered. First and second one he wasn't. Then it evolved into he was cybernetically enhanced, and then he became an alien for some weird reason.
And it's not the same Yoshimitsu, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. But that's why like that progression kind of just went completely left board. Like it was just
again, they have dinosaurs, so bug alien from space is not that far fetched at this point in this game.
They only had it in
like if 3. The Filipino, huh?
They only had Gon in 3.
No. They had also had Alex. Man, Alex was in multiple games. Gon was a hidden character though.
Yeah, but technically Gon was a.
And I don't think you could play Gon in the main game, like the arcade version. I think that was only console, but I'm not quite sure on that because you have to do that weird. You have to fight him, but the only way to do that is if you do the volleyball thing. I couldn't remember.
No,
personally.
because in order to be able to get him, you had to beat the game with Boskanovich.
There we go. And Boskanovich was also a hidden character.
Yeah.
But you also had Alex, which was a same, basically like a retextured version of the kangaroo.
But that's why he was just loosely based off. He was just based off of the kangaroo, so I wouldn't consider that part like they have an actual dinosaur. It was just a reskinned version. It's the same thing like Kuma
Well,
and
no, but
Panda.
Alex has his own storyline.
Yeah, after the fact. Originally, when they brought in stuff like he didn't really have a storyline.
No, of course, but like now that he has a storyline, he is a character. So now they have two dinosaurs. Well, a dinosaur, a dragon. Technically, Gon's not a dinosaur; it's an actual dragon.
No,
But
Don was supposed to be a dinosaur.
no dinosaur breathes fire. That's basically a dragon at this point. If you're a lizard and you breathe fire, to me, you're a dragon, a wyvern, or any other subsect of those. I wonder if anyone remembers this because I haven't read the D&D book in a while. The character creator. Let us know if the dragonborns can breathe fire. I know. I don't
Technically, they
know.
should be. Well,
They
if
should be able to,
By
right?
Skyrim lore, yes. Once you learn the words,
Well, of course, but I'm talking about D&D.
I'm pretty sure. Well,
I know that they were slaves to the dragons, like they're lesser born to dragons. Because I treat every dragonborn we meet as lesser than me.
I guess it would also depend on the traits too, because I know that there were the different styles, like the gold dragon, the red, would determine whether you could or not. It also depended upon the lineage of
No,
the dragon.
yeah. But my question is more of just like which ones can, like, can they breathe anything? You know, fire, lightning, or ice. I think the only three that they can breathe.
I think the gold was supposed to be fire,
Yeah, because I'm a gold dragon in game and I breathe fire. I think silver was ice or lightning,
something like that.
and each one is either like a 30-foot cone, like mine's a 30-foot cone, or like a 60-foot spray. But my whole thing was like, look, I'm a tank. I want to be able to do area of effect DPS damage if I can. You know, just in case I'm surrounded by a bunch of minions who are, one shot kills, and I just take them all out one time.
Yeah, saves a little bit of time as it would
Oh my
be.
god, especially with our DM who likes to just overrun us with minions. Consistently, we always have minions against us, and I'm just like, bro,
That's why you cleave the shit out of them.
but minions hit hard, man. They hit so fucking hard.
That's why you cleave.
I don't have cleave.
So what the hell's wrong with you?
It's a fighter thing.
Well, get good.
I'm actually technically, but I can use magic. I'm a barbarian that uses magic, but all my magic just enhances the things that are weak against. So, um, when my character was gonna learn magic, he decided like, look, I can't sneak. I'm like 8 feet tall. I'm basically a dragon.
You can do the charismatic rogue with no dexterity.
Oh no, so I have things like hold person. So that's my favorite one. I hold person and I just walk up and I'm like, die. And I just slice right through them. It's easy peasy.
No, but like, yeah, it's like, of course.
But I have like darkness,
But you don't need to sneak.
silence.
Like, you don't need to sneak. Somebody's character did prove that you don't need to sneak. You could just have high charisma and go, you don't see me, and you roll. It's like, oh, charisma works. Okay, I don't see anybody. Look, I'm John Cena. You just walk in.
No, that's why we have a paladin.
Or I'm a talking horse.
We have a paladin with high charisma. Yet I'm the one who always does all the talking because, like, out of game, he doesn't know how to role play. But in game, he needed that high charisma so he can do the fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For like his spells and whatnot. Because I think paladins use charisma for their spell base. And I was like, bro, you need to talk. And he's like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, bro, I have base intelligence. I can't tell you what to say. But I do have like a high enough charisma. I think I have like a 17 charisma. That's a +3.
I mean, it's not bad.
No, I mean it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Above
I kind of like
average as it would be.
I'm there enough to like tell him what to say, and he says it. You know what I mean? Like I'm that dude in the suit that stands behind the CEO and just whispers in his ear, or that guy who told like Bush that Bin Laden attacked America, and he continued reading a book. Which is a real thing, guys. He continued reading that book, even though he was told that we just got attacked by another country on our soil. But that's fine. who cares? I guess. Um, no, yeah, going like. So I would assume then that God's a dragon, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, because it was
Unless the story specifically says we found a dinosaur, we made him breathe fire, then I would accept it. But until then, that dude's a dinosaur.
yeah. I mean, because the only thing I remember was he could always fart, which is hilarious.
Oh, that was great. He was a good character, actually.
Yeah.
He was a good.
Well, I mean, because of the fact
yeah,
that
he was super
the
small.
fact
So
that
you
like
couldn't
he
hit him.
was Boscanovich was leaning over, and then you had Gon, who was like half his fucking size.
And Boscanovich had a lot of moves from the ground.
Yeah, because that's how he was designed.
Yeah, either crouch or lying down.
Well, yeah, he was pretty much always would hit low because he was always like fucking hunched over.
Because the only other ground-based character was Lei Wulong that I can remember from 3, because that was all in Tekken 3 only.
No, like he would always do like pickup moves like from the ground. He wasn't like really ground based. More, I would say King once they added in the combo moves and stuff like that. So you could try and fight from the ground, but like King could just
No, but I meant
grab
like
you in the ground.
just in 3 alone, where all the characters were there. Like Boscanovich was just basically like a very unique character, because the only other person who did have moves from the ground was Lei Wulong. Compared to everyone else, at least he had some moves from the ground that wasn't just I kick you in the shin. He had
King?
moves that like did King have moves from the ground even in 3?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Because
that.
that's where they started to try to do like the split between Armor King and King. Because Armor King.
Oh, that was a retextured at one point, right?
No, because even in the first one, he was King. Armor King was his own character.
No, yeah, but they had the same storyline when they finished the game. Yeah,
Nope.
they both went to that orphanage.
Nope.
You sure?
Yep.
I'll look it up, and I'll look it up after.
Because
I swear to God, I remember playing that game, and both of them went to an orphanage, and I went, I don't.
No, but because it was really limited on the PlayStation, they pretty much had very similar movesets. Going into 3, that's where they split it up, where King would be more combo heavy as far as being able to chain the throws.
So I was right then. They were kind of like Jack and Alex, where they were basically like they had similar moves.
But it wasn't a reskin though. It was two separate characters.
Yeah, but Jack and Alex wasn't a reskin though, right?
Yeah. No, technically Jack and Alex was a reskin when they first brought him in. In the first Tekken, it wasn't a reskin. It was in order to get Armor King, you had to beat the game with King to unlock Armor King.
Yeah,
but it was a totally separate.
The same way.
Yeah, it was roughly the same styles as far as like because they're both wrestling, but it would just be Armor King's one hit a lot harder.
Okay, what are you considering a reskin? Where like if I push a different button, it changes the way it looks, or are you?
Yeah, that's a reskin.
No, so Alex and Jack were 2 different characters.
When they first introduced him, it was a reskin.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was because it was something like originally it was like Kuma and Panda.
Oh, okay.
It was a reskin, like because you had Kuma.
Oh,
and you
Kuma
had
and Panda has been a reskin all the way up to like 5.
Yeah, until they actually gave
Yeah.
gave
But they
their own
were
story
also
to tell you.
separate storylines. Kuma was Heihachi's panda, or not panda, but bear, and Panda was with Xiao Yu because
Yeah.
like you know.
But that was when they started to do that in a sense was
That was 3. 3
Yeah.
is when they had the separate storylines, but there was still a reskin. Because I didn't know that Kuma existed because I didn't know Panda existed because all they showed was Kuma on the loading screen. No, the character select screen.
But like with even from the first one, you had King and Armor King. It was never you select a different costume and it's Armor King. It was always 2 separate people. So that was the part that
Would consider it not a reskin.
Yeah. Plus the fact that again, once they went to the fact that the way they designed them after the fact was Armor King was more when you get hit by the move, it hurts like a motherfucker.
Well,
Versus
like,
King, where you in order to do maximum damage, you want to get him into the string.
let's see what people say. Like, okay, what would you consider a reskin? And tell us in the comments, because, like, is it the way they look? Is it the fact that they're 2 separate people you get to choose? Or is it like the fact that they are they use the same moveset? You know what I mean? Like if there's 2 different characters but they use the same moveset, would you consider that a reskin?
No, because if you look at like Christian, if you like,
Hold
for
on,
example,
I'm asking you, bro. I know you're.
No,
I'm asking the people in
but
the comments.
like if you look at like Christy and Eddie, Like they both use the same type of. They both use capoeira. They both fight the same way,
Mhm.
but they are considered two separate characters.
Well, they have different moves. That's why. That's what I'm trying to ask because King and Armor King did have the same move set.
Well, it was there were slight variances as far as like with
Like
because
later on, I would say they're not a reskin, of course, but
no, even in the
like
original one, they had slight differences within the moveset. But it
obviously
was like certain
Sub
throws and stuff like that.
Zero, Sub Zero and Scorpion are obviously reskins of each other. Like they're literally the same person. They look exactly like in most of the games until they started going more 3 dimensional. Because then like technology got better where you're like, please draw a separate character. You know what I mean?
I would say it's more of just
But that's
it would
still a
yeah
reskin.
yeah, but the entire moveset is complete. But it was always separate
No, that's
characters.
what I'm
Yeah.
asking. That's what I was asking our fans. Like, what would you consider a reskin? Does it have to be like both the people where you choose them from and the moves have to be the same? Is only one have to be the same, or does it have to have at least two things as the same? Like if they look alike but just different colors, and they have the same moveset, is that a reskin? I mean, tell us in the comments below because I really want to know what people think on this matter. I personally for me, don't know. That's the best way I can put it, D. Like, I don't know what I would consider a
I mean, yeah,
reskin.
because everybody's idea of it is going to be different.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah. That's why I want to know like what people might think. Because for me, what I consider a reskin would be, I guess, if they look relatively similar and they have the same moveset, 2 out of 3 makes it a reskin. Um, because I would say like Smoke, um, Sub Zero, Reptile, uh, Scorpion, and I think there's like 3 more. One of them was purple.
Ermac, Rain.
Ermac, Rain. Rain was purple, right?
Yep.
It's Purple Rain. Those would be considered reskins to me, but they don't have the same. Oh, I guess I don't know.
They don't have the same. They wouldn't be considered to have the same moveset.
No, exactly. So they wouldn't have the same moveset, and they wouldn't have the same.
It was just a palette, like especially for like
I
Mortal
guess
Kombat in the
I would
beginning. It
say
would
that
be
would be
more
a
of a palette
palette swap. So like, what makes it a palette swap to you guys, and what makes like is only 1 out of the 3 a palette swap? Because you can say a palette swap for like move sets as well.
Yeah.
So is 1 out of 3 a palette swap? 2 out of 3 a reskin? Let us know. But
Because well, I mean, yeah, with the palette swap, it's literally just color change.
well, yeah, but I could say
But like in
we could
the
probably use the term palette swap
in
for
the
lack of
but
a
for
better
me in
word.
the version of like Tekken where it was literally just a different you just pick a different costume, but it was literally the same moveset. That what I consider would be like a reskin. Because all you're
No,
doing
that's why.
is
Yeah. So that's what I was saying to the people. Like for me, I would recommend it. I would say, if you look relatively similar, and it's literally just like a quick change, like quick skin change, and you have the same move set, maybe like a small variation. Like it can't be any bigger than like maybe you have a couple extra moves or you do a different damage depending on what you're doing, but it's basically the same moves. I would consider that a reskin still. Personally, it has to have 2 out of the 3 criterias to be one.
yeah. I mean,
I think that's the reason why I thought King and Armor King would be. Nowadays they're not because I don't think Armor King has combos.
yeah.
Not combos, but counters. Not as well as King does.
Well, that's how they discern the difference between them. It was how the fighting how the moveset worked. Where King was more you could chain all the throws. Armor King was you get grabbed once, it hurts like a motherfucker. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't you didn't have to change shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, no, I can see where you're coming from there.
Because that was kind of how they did it originally as well, where Armor King would do more. He could do heavier hitting moves because he was supposed to be stronger. But again, even in the first one, because of the limitations of the engine and stuff like that at the time, I would consider that one. I would say it's a real 50-50 mix between a reskin and generally separate characters. But once it went into 3, where they made regular King a little bit faster, and they allowed him to chain all his throws together. And then Armor King was a little bit slower, but would hit heavier, would hit harder. Wasn't as easy to combo with as it would be with King. That's where they made the drastic separation between the two.
Mm. I would say then, yeah. Okay, I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Yeah,
What is their story anyway? They're like luchadors, right?
Well, both
They're not
wrestlers.
from
One,
Mexico, right?
they both they were either, I think they were Brazilian.
Yeah, no, they had to be.
They're from like Rio de Janeiro or something.
I don't
like that.
think there's jaguars in Mexico.
Because the original story, Armor King is the one who taught King how to fight, which is why he dons the Jaguar,
Yes.
the Jaguar helm. But Armor King, I can't remember if he was just well known within the wrestling scene. King himself was supposed to be an orphan, originally.
Yeah, he
I don't
was
know.
at that orphanage.
Yeah, that's why after you finished it, he took the earnings and stuff like that, went back and built up the orphanage and stuff again. I know later on they did the same thing like they do. They pass on the mask essentially to the next people. So in later versions, technically
this isn't the Armor King from the past, right? That guy died.
Yeah. So technically, even the more recent versions of Armor King, they've even said it was supposed to still be the original one, because Armor King himself never in the storyline he never passed on his mask. It was always just King. King was the only one to pass on the mask. Because Armor King, he was more. It was because the way he fought versus the way he taught King how to fight. Armor King was supposed to be like more. I would say like more savage in how he fights.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why like his moves do a lot more. Which is why he does technically a lot more moves that would technically kill a normal person as it would be. But King's one, it was because, especially since Armor King took himself out of the limelight since King went in. Not like later on, not a lot of people knew who Armor King was anyway. So that's how that's why they said he was supposed to have died off. But it was like he never passed on his mask as far as the Armor King mask. The King himself was the only one that would pass it on after the fact because
Armor
King
was
always
like
well known.
40 or 30 when like the first game came out.
He was supposed to be like late 20s, early 30s. King was supposed to be like just start like he was supposed to be like 18, 19 around there.
Yeah, so
give or take.
So like this Armor King either is dead, a robot, or has like he's just
like,
super strong as an old man.
In terms, they kind of redid how the original story was, where he was supposed to have died. This one, I think they're still playing it off. Yeah, he died, but somebody else is donning the mask, which is why at the same time I think it's I don't know. I haven't played 7,
and he's the same skin tone and the same height.
But I know with like 5 and 6, the reason why King's story he was looking for Armor King, because the person who was portraying Armor King was not the original one, and he like the guy who's donning it was he either had stolen the mask or something like that, which is why King was actually looking for him in the first place.
Which game was this one? 6?
I think it was like 5 or 6 or something like that. I don't know if they continued the storyline. I just remember there was a section like that where that's the reason why King was looking for Armored King, because he wanted that mask back. Because the guy who was playing Armored King was not his mentor. He knew his mentor was dead.
Yeah.
By that point.
And then like King got sick, I think at one point, because I remember the scene where Murdoch and King were in a hospital bed together, not together, but like
they're in the So that was the whole thing. That's why they can say that with King's one, he's just passing on the mask to like the next, the next person he's mentoring, or the next generally like the next orphan that wants to like don it and is able to do so.
Yeah, it's the My Hero Academia of Tekken.
But with Armor King's one, that whole thing was somebody stole his mask, which is why he was looking for him. Because he never. That was the one thing that he knew, that Armor King never passed on the mask. The moment he died.
We didn't even talk about like the kicker and the puncher too.
Which one?
You got Steve Fox, the boxer, and Horong. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm not.
Korean. And then you kind of had Lee. Lee was
also. Was he Taekwondo?
No, he was another, because he was supposed to be Kazuya's cousin.
No,
so he was still
his stepbrother or something.
But he was still using a variation of the Mishima clan one mixed with some other stuff.
Way more speed.
Yeah.
Because I didn't ever play.
But his was more. His kicks were a lot faster and they hit a lot harder versus his punches. Even like Harwang, he would still punch, but it was mainly kicking. and then Steve, you had nothing to do with kicks because all you're doing is like dodging.
Unless you hit the ground. If you hit the ground and push X or circle if you're on a PlayStation, AB if you're on an Xbox, or just kick if you're playing it in an arcade.
Yeah.
Which I don't think anyone does that much anymore.
Which again, I think is the reason why we have this culture of I'm a great fighter playing online.
I think this is the reason why too that I stopped playing video games because I've only liked the arcade scene in video games.
Well, because it's the fact of camaraderie. Like again, a lot of my friends that I know,
you lose, you get angry, you walk away, you come back, you say you're sorry for losing
no, it's not even
shit,
it's not even losing, you get angry
hand. Well, no, I did. If I lost, because I put in a lot of quarters into that game, and I would get angry and leave. I'll come back and shake your hand.
But going to some of the arcades and stuff like that, a lot of the way the guys at the con met would either be through mutual friends or through arcades. That's how pretty much everybody kind of met. Because one of the guys I knew, my brother knew him. I didn't. I knew of him. I never actually met him, but I met him through playing in arcades and stuff like that. And I would get beat by him, and then we ended up just chatting, talking. Found out that this was the same guy that my brother was talking about, so we became friends that way. And then we just ended up doing stupid shit in the arcade as far as when we're playing King of Fighters. Oh, can we beat somebody one handed? Can we do goofy shit when we're playing stuff like that? But that's it. That to me is what more of the fighting game community was about, is the camaraderie behind it, which is why being in the same room with somebody playing on the same console is one thing. It's I could say it's kind of the same thing, where it's that camaraderie because you're both in the same room. Whereas you're playing with someone online, you can talk the biggest load of shit, and then again you always going back to it. You have the guys that talk the biggest load of shit, start losing, disconnect. It's
well, I never I mean, I don't really play online anymore per se. I do, I do play with my nephew and I would play together online.
Because the online, to me, the online scene makes it more toxic than it should be.
Well, I'll play against,
makes it hella toxic.
I'll play against my nephew online, but that's only because I know he won't leave.
Yeah.
We just played recently and I beat him 8-4 and wins. And
but it's literally just to figure shit out. It's just to have
for fun. Yeah.
It's that camaraderie. But it's the ones that want to say, I'm a pro level player. Look at my stats.
I'm gonna be honest though, there was no camaraderie between us. I was so toxic the whole time. No, even when I talked as much shit as a person winning a Monopoly, even though I was losing.
but I mean, it's still the fact that it's family. Honestly,
I can't talk nice to him. But
but again, it's family. But even being in the arcade
shit, though. I don't know.
No, but even being in the arcade, all the guys I've met, we're all still friends, but we would all talk shit to each other. That's how we would always do it. When we're playing fucking fighting games.
I can only talk shit to him. I honestly I can say stupid stuff, but I can never talk shit. That's just not.
Yeah, but no, because it's just the fact that you grew up with him. It's that competitive side, that competitive.
He was the only. Okay, I'll tell you guys a story from my past. So him and I would get into major fights with each other because of it. We would be sitting there. I'd beat him because I'd always pick king before. Well, in 3 I didn't, but in 4 I did. And that's when they really got that counters in there. And I would just counter him, punch armbar, kick leg lock, punch armbar. That's it, man. And then when I was ready, just combo grabs, what was it? German suplex, power bomb, German suplex again, just consistently.
No, his best one was technically the muscle buster combo. That was his highest damage combo.
And then
I always would memorize it.
My nephew would throw a controller at me. I'd throw a controller at him. Then we broke each other's nose once. That was a legitimate story. That was the first time we broke each other's nose. That wasn't the last time we broke each other's nose, but that was the first time.
But see, it's stuff like that where again, it's because it's family. Same thing with me and my brother when we play fighting games. Yeah, I would get like that as well when I lose, just because. But again, it's
and
still...
he'd always start it. He would always start the anger. I have a temper, yes, but I'm very good at holding my temper in, keeping my emotions in check. Even with my disorder, I'm very good at doing that. But he cannot keep his temper down. Now he's really good at it. I'm very proud of him. But
No, but like
Not
it.
before.
But again, it's still like one of those things where playing against others in at the con and stuff like that. Again, because you're sitting in the same room, so you're seeing how the other player reacts and stuff like that. You're seeing if they get frustrated and stuff like that. So you can. But that's also the whole part of figuring out how the opponent plays too. Because like especially if you're like if you go to like Evo and you're playing in the tournaments, you're sitting next to the person you're playing against, so you can kind of see how they react to certain things that you do, and you can adjust your playstyle according. Whereas if you're playing online, you don't get that, and again, I always will go back to the disconnecting asshats because there were I can't remember what game did it, but I think it was within Tekken or it was Street Fighter Five or Street Fighter Six or six was it on six now? I can't remember, but I know they designed it where if you consistently disconnected, they would put you in other they would put all the people that disconnect into the same pool. So whenever you're fighting somebody else online, you're fighting somebody else that also disconnects too. So they ended up taking all the people. They took them out of the regular rotations for everybody that would play online, and then threw them into the special
Which
match.
game is this?
I think it was either Tekken or it might have been Street Fighter. It was one of those two. That the more you disconnected, and it wasn't due to a system thing, where you're choosing to like unplug your router or something like that, and you're not having any internet connection issues. The system flagged it and went, "Oh, so you're constantly doing this? All right." So all the people go from the open pool world pool to just this world pool of everybody who likes to disconnect on each other. So good luck trying to get out of there too. Because in order to get out of that pool, you had to win at least like I think it was like 5 matches or something like that to get out back into the regular rotation. But because everybody kept disconnecting from each other, you're stuck.
I mean, I would do that.
I mean, it makes perfect sense because that also is a part of the community that not a lot that is toxic because
Yeah, I wanted to say that earlier.
like
Like
you're
before
you're
you guys jump
ruining
into this.
you're ruining the game for somebody else
Yeah, before
because it's like, oh, I want to win.
before you guys jump into this, like this group of people, understand that all groups of people have toxicity in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But
we have gamers that we like to watch,
but like
and there's still toxic people in their group, even though there are a lot of really good people out there.
Yeah.
There's still going to be some toxicity in there.
yeah, with any community, there's always is. But I think with the fighting game community, the majority realize that this by doing something like that, you're ruining the other person's experience because
Look, both of us are toxic people. Like not like all the time consistently, but we have our toxic moments. Like
yeah. No, but like these the way I look at it in terms of the community, like if you look at the community as a whole, they're very accepting because there are times where it's like people will say like, oh, why are you playing that character? They suck. Like one of them was
not the Street Fighter community. That's the one community that I will actually say is extremely toxic.
Well, I mean, it's because of how people play now. But
Yeah.
like again, going like if you were
I'm talking from 3.
I would say if you were the more I don't want to say not all arcade players were like accepting.
Oh, no,
the
yeah.
majority of them were. Same thing for the online community. The majority are. Again, you're always gonna have the toxic section of people.
Either
but
I've run into all the toxic people in
But-
Street Fighter, or
it's
there's a
possible
lot
because
more
because
toxic people
because
in
Street Fighter is a lot more popular.
Tekken. I've had a lot of really good moments in Tekken.
Yeah, but
I did have people disconnect on me,
But with Street Fighter, I think it's because it's more popular. You get a lot more toxicity because people tend to gravitate towards the popular games, and you'll always get that entire group of people that are toxic. But the community as a whole tries to regulate that shit too. Because even
Mortal Kombat, I've ran into very little toxic people.
well, it's because to be honest,
There's not a lot of people that do
Yeah.
play it though, but like
Yeah.
you'd expect a game that's about mutilating the
no,
opponent.
I mean with the fan base it has, of course.
I mean, it's not that small of a fan base. It is
No,
one
but
of the top
with
three.
the fan base it has, like no, honestly, if you're comparing it to like every fighting game, it's not. I can say it'll be in top 10. It will be in the top 10
I would
because
say
it's well
top
known.
5 at least. Only
No.
the reason why I'd say that is
I would say
because
it'd be
you
like
don't
maybe-
make 11 games if you're
No,
not.
no, no. I would say maybe like I would say guaranteed again top 10, but it'd be like 7 or 8
Yeah.
in terms because you have games like Guilty Gear.
Again, this is both of our
Yeah.
opinions. I'd say top 5. You say top 7.
well, top 10. Within the top 10, I'd
Yeah,
say
within
around
the
like
top
6 or
10.
7. But to me, it's more the more popular ones that are consistently done at Evo. The ones that are always at the big stage would be anything like Guilty Gear, King of Fighters, Street Fighter. Now with Dragon Ball Fighters out from ArcSys. Any of the main
Could
ones
you
that
play Mortal Kombat at those games? Like at those areas? Because
I
that's
mean,
rated M, if I'm not
no,
mistaken,
no, like
right? It's not rated. It can't be rated T.
you can still turn off the blood. You can turn
Yeah,
off the
but
blood and stuff
you
like that.
can't turn off the finisher. Like, you can turn off the blood, but your intestines are still coming out and still chopping a person's face in half. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you can.
No, they can still do it on the main stage. It's just they choose. I think they choose not to because again, it's not as popular as like Street Fighter, as like Tekken, as Dragon Ball Fighter stuff like that. Because like with Mortal Kombat, it has its ups and downs. It always has its ups and downs. You had really good versions of Mortal Kombat, and then they come up with something else, and it's really shit. And then the next one that comes out afterwards, it exceeds
Oh, like
expectations.
Armageddon was just hot garbage,
Yeah.
in my personal opinion.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Whereas like you have a little bit more consistency with like Street Fighter, with King of Fighters. Again, you're gonna have the opinions of everybody,
Yeah.
but to me, I think across the board it was more consistent. Where they constantly made improvements to the
Well,
game
I
itself.
would agree with you up until Street Fighter 4. After 4, it
'cause-
was like
'cause-
5 was garbage.
Because going back to 4, they tried to go back to the original charm of 2, while keeping all the stuff from like Street Fighter 3, from Street Fighter Alpha, everything in between that. But I think they executed it a little bit. It was a little bit wonky.
Well, no, 4 wasn't that bad. Like 4 wasn't like hot topic, not
No.
hot topic, but like hot seller.
But see,
But,
the thing with it, the thing with 4 and 5, it was the fact that they tried to introduce some other new mechanics that kind of just didn't work. And again, like to me, they tried. I think they tried to improve upon stuff that was already really good in like Street Fighter Alpha, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, by incorporating it into 5. It still kind of works, but to me, it's not as good as it was in Street Fighter Alpha. Like V mode and stuff like that, the combo mode and stuff like that. That was all introduced in Street Fighter Alpha, Alpha 2, Alpha 3. It was well executed in those, but putting it into 5, like with how the mechanics and everything are versus Alpha, like it doesn't fit the style.
also, to the Street Fighter X Tekken game was just that wasn't good because a lot of things from Tekken couldn't transfer over to Street Fighter.
Well, see that's the problem I think with that one was because of the success of like SNK versus Capcom.
Or no, the better, like not the better one, but like the more popular one.
No, it actually was executed a lot better because
Well, you also have Marvel versus Capcom, which is like widely more popular right now. Just due to the fact that most
No,
people
yeah,
don't know
but-
SNK characters anymore.
but again, don't get me wrong. But like with the crossovers, because like with Marvel vs. Capcom, that was Capcom version. That was Capcom's version of the crossover. With SNK versus Capcom, that was SNK's version. SVC Chaos, which came out after, was Capcom's version of was Capcom versus SNK again, but it was Capcom's version of it. With Tekken X Street Fighter, that one was like they tried to I think play on the success of as far as like Marvel vs. Capcom, as far as SNK versus Capcom, because again SNK at the time when the games came out was really big. Same thing with Capcom; they were the two more well-known companies in the fighting game industry. SNK is still around. The only reason SNK kind of fell off a little bit was when Playmore bought them out and started doing stupid shit with King of Fighters. A lot of people didn't like the direction that Playmore was taking SNK. It was kind of shit.
Well, my whole thing too
But-
was my biggest thing was just like not even talking about like the politics behind it. Was just the fact that like you can't take a game that needs 3-dimensional math in a sense. You know what I mean? I can walk, I can jump, crouch, side to side, and walk completely around you in a 360 degree. Now you're taking that and putting on a 2-dimensional playing field.
You still could.
You couldn't do it in that game, right?
You could.
I mean, I didn't play it, but that's what I assumed when I watched
No,
people
like
play.
yeah, it would restrict some moves, but like not everybody had like a sidestep move into like another move. Kind of
No,
thing.
but everyone had like different grapples depending on where you are, and each grapple did.
No, yeah, but that was the
different
thing. You could still limit that. You didn't have to put all that in. You didn't need to put Because you
Well,
can
yeah,
still
but you
combo, you
took
can
out
still do all
like
this stuff like that.
chunks of the game just to make it work. Doesn't mean like isn't a
No, that's
good
not
way to
even a
make a
main chunk
game.
of the game. Because if because the majority of it when you're sidestepping was it would give you different throws,
No, what I'm
but
saying though,
like the
like it wasn't
moveset
even
wouldn't
that
change.
too. It was like the ways to dodge, things like that, right? Like it's maybe I'm explaining this wrong
Because
because in my head I am understanding it, but like the way it is just like if I took SNK and I not SNK Street Fighter because I didn't play much SNK. I played one Kingdom Fight, maybe two at the arcade. But our arcades here kind of weren't up to date compared to like other places, probably depending on how like who was running it and how deep in the video game culture they were in.
yeah.
Like mine was a bowling alley, so they kind of just had enough to keep kids busy, but not
Well,
they.
The SNK cabinet at the bowling alley, there was Metal Slug. It had King of Fighters 2001, 2002, and I can't remember the fourth game. No, it didn't have 2002. It was 2000. It was 2001. Metal Slug X, and one other game on there on the cabinet that I remember. I don't know if it changed since I went, but originally that
It's not
game.
around anymore. So
Well, yeah, I
yes, it
know.
totally changed since you went.
No, but like but I know 2001 was on the SNK cabinet though, because that was
But
when I
yeah,
was
so like I
playing.
played that one then, but like that's why I didn't want to say SNK. But like with Street Fighter, like if I don't know how to explain it, but it
They
just
have taken Capcom did do a 3D version of Street Fighter.
did they?
Yeah, Street Fighter EX.
That's weird.
We actually have it.
I can't imagine playing
Street
that.
Fighter EX and then Street Fighter EX plus Alpha. That was a 3D version of the game.
I could not imagine that.
So you had Ryu and Ken, you had Akuma, you had like all of them Chun and stuff like that. But the reason why it didn't work as well was because of the fact that you had fireballs. So it was like fireballs would follow the linear plane. So it's like, oh, sidestep, okay, your fireball is
That's what I'm
useless.
saying. So you couldn't really take either. Like you could probably like it worked better for Tekken into Street Fighter.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fireballs in Tekken. Actually, there's only one, and there was only one game. So, but even then, like,
Well,
to
no,
take
that's a little bit of I wouldn't say it's a fireball per se, but I would say like Devil Kazuya had the fucking laser beams.
there you go.
So you had laser beams. You had technically Devil Jin had laser beams too. Ogre
Fire breath.
had the fire breath. Um, so I mean, yeah, they had forms of it.
Yeah, well, kinda. Cause like,
Again, forms of it. It was still a linear plane where you could sidestep.
like if I jumped and Kazuya did that I beam, it goes up, so you have to like duck.
Well, I mean, because you had different ones where
But
you
with the
jump into the air,
fireball, if I
shoot it.
ducked or jumped over it, it didn't matter as long as I'm not standing upright. I'm not getting hit by a fireball.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't say like it will only work one way with taking some like things out, but it wouldn't work the other way by like trying
Good.
to add things in, like the fireball things. Like you just said, like the fireballs wouldn't work. That's a
I mean, it was still there because
it's a big
it's
part.
still
Of
part
course
of the
it's gonna
stuff.
be still there,
But you're still capable of comboing with the fireballs and stuff like that. It wasn't like it was like just completely null and void. Like you still had reasons to use it and stuff like that. Because there were still, even though it was still open, you still had like with Tekken, you still had like walls and stuff like that, so you could still like back somebody up into a corner, and you could still potentially hit them with the fireballs and stuff like that. So it wasn't completely useless.
no, it wasn't.
It's not as completely
useless.
useless as making it sound to be, but
No, yeah,
but that's why when originally they were when I heard the original talks for the Tekken X Street Fighter, I assumed they were going to do the 3D plane because of Street Fighter EX and Tekken. When they did the 2D plane one, I was like, yeah, I mean it could still work. Because going from the 3D to the 2D, yeah, you're getting rid of the sidestep. You're getting rid of potentially some moves out of like the moveset, but the majority of it could still work.
No, that's what I was saying. That's
So-
what I was just saying. Like it works one way, but it doesn't really work the other.
Because if you
No, I know it could.
Yeah,
but
because if you want Street
anything
Fighter
could-
EX, no,
Wait,
but if
I
you
don't
want Street
think it'd
Fighter
be
EX with Tekken, like you could do the same thing. But it's essentially it would be the same thing. But to me, I would say the best ones in terms to do the crossovers for like if you want to do 3D plane would be like Virtua Fighter versus Tekken, Soul Calibur versus Tekken.
Yeah.
Where you don't really have fireballs as much. You could do like
Because you can't take out the fireball. Like that's a essential part of the game.
because like I mean with like with Marvel vs. Capcom, you did have one character from 3D game, in Marvel vs. Capcom from it was Hayato, the guy with the laser sword. He was from freaking what fucking game was it? Not Battle Arena Toshinden. Shit, I can't remember the game. Star Gladiators. Star Gladiators was a 3D game, but you could still, because it was about like weaponry and stuff like that, like same thing like with Soul Calibur. You could still put them into like a 3D
Technically,
platform.
Soul Calibur is a Tekken X Soul Calibur game because they did have two Tekken players in there.
Yeah, but honestly, like, but
They
you
had
also had
Heihachi.
yeah, but
And
you also
they
had you could also you also put fucking Link in. Well, Yoshimitsu was in it because of the weapon side.
Yeah.
So that one, it was just the fact that it fit. But Yoshimitsu, I think, was just universal across the board. It wasn't really like.
And you can add DC into it too because they had Spawn.
Spawn wasn't really DC.
Well, it's Dark, but it's not owned by DC,
Yeah.
so it's DC.
But then you also had Nintendo's one where they put in Link, and Link was the dirtiest fucking character in there because you could throw bombs.
Well, that's the best. But the Oculus is Facebook. Like,
Yeah,
I don't care what people
but
say
you're
now.
you're already giving generally a character that is pretty good an OP way to get around certain things, because like if you were to put Link into like a Tekken game, I would say he wouldn't be as OP as he was in Soul Calibur.
Well, no, yeah. Unless you can find a way to add that bomb into a combo, but that bomb takes a while to explode.
But that was the thing with Soul Calibur, was like you could literally litter the place with bombs, and you could just because you could always bring out somebody. That was the problem with stuff too, and the fact that he had his bow. So you had
the fact that it was on a GameCube, so
yeah,
nobody really played
but it was still the fact that you had long range, so you didn't have to actually engage anybody with Link, because you had your bow, you had your bombs.
Did they use Spawn's?
And you had your fucking boomerang too.
How did they use Spawn in that game? Because I didn't have an Xbox, I don't know. But you know,
his was more like the utilizing the cape. Sliding. But yeah, his was more, I think, utilizing the cape. Because that was the whole thing with, that's what gave him more of the range.
Because like,
so he
could still have range too.
Yeah, but it was.
But I guess they didn't put it in.
But it was dependent upon how long they made the cape. But like the cape was the limit of his range. Whereas,
well, no, but I was saying like they could have put the chains in there. They chose not to, but they could have totally put the chains in there and then just.
No, but you could still put limitations on that. Whereas, like, how are you going to put a limitation on a fucking bow and arrow?
Wait, how do you put a limitation? Oh, I guess like if you ignore all the comics.
No,
he didn't have a limitation on his cape or his chains. They can go as far as he wanted to. He just likes up close. He never even uses his powers. I don't know why they would even use that stuff, because he uses guns.
Well, I mean, because you kind of gotta put
the fact that they didn't put his guns in there. That's what annoyed me.
You kind of had to do it a little bit because you had Cervantes and stuff like that, where you had that kind of demonic power, and it was the fact that it was based off of the Soul Edge, which was the reason why, like, you know, that they tried to tie into the story with everybody. So the Soul Edge is the one that made Siegfried into Nightmare, pretty much. Mm-hmm. But that was the whole thing where you technically have supernatural powers within the game. It's just nobody has fireballs. So, like, you know, like with Killick, you did have range. With Cervantes, you had the torpedo move and stuff like that, where you could close the gap. Astaroth had a huge fucking range with his big ass axe.
Oh, Cervantes' daughter.
What, Ivy?
Yeah, she also had a huge range.
Yeah, but that was the thing. But that's the thing. You had range up to a certain point, which is why they could still do it with Spawn.
Well, hers was like half a length of like thing. Yeah.
Killick actually had a longer range, and so did Astaroth.
Did they really?
Over Ivy, yeah. Ivy was faster. She had a good amount of range, but like Killick with the pole could outrange Ivy. Astaroth with the axe could outrange Ivy. But that's the thing. But you had ups and downsides to all of that. But you have Link, who literally can throw bombs, and you have him with a bow and arrow, so you don't actually have to fully engage somebody. Like, you can turtle the shit out of anybody with Link and have them. You have to go to them to do any type of damage, because you can just keep throwing bombs and shooting fucking bows.
Yeah, I also didn't understand why they put Heihachi in the game.
Well, Heihachi's one, I could still kind of understand.
I can't. He has no weapon. The whole game's about weapons.
Well, it's still
He has no interest
his
in weapons.
his weapons are his choice. That's why he was known. That's why originally he took on the moniker. He was the king of the Iron Fist.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying though is that like the whole game's about trying to get a sword. This guy has never been like, you know what?
No, it's not so much the sword itself. It's the power of the Soul Edge. The Soul Edge would manifest into anything that you wanted.
Oh,
So
he's gonna have bracelets.
it was. He just wanted the power to be able to kill the devil.
Yeah,
That's all. That's the whole storyline behind Heihachi's one. He wanted to wield the power to be able to kill, to be able to be able to defeat Genpachi, to be able to defeat Kazuya if need be, and actually be able to kill them. That was the whole idea behind.
he's actually a pretty good guy. Oh, all in all, like if you look at it, like he realizes that his family has a really bad curse that can destroy the whole world.
But he also doesn't want to. But he just wants to be the strongest. That's all he cares about.
Oh yeah.
So it's not a matter. It's not a matter of I'm trying to save the world. It's I know they're stronger than me. I need to even the playing field so I can go. Haha, fuck you. I'm strong. He's literally the Lex Luthor of Tekken.
No. Oh, who's that? What's the name of the main? He's the Ryu. He's the Ryu of Tekken.
No.
Yeah, because that's all his shit is too. I just want to fight people and know them who's strong. That's
No,
literally his whole story.
Yeah,
he's
but his
such
whole thing,
a boring character.
No, his whole thing was he just wants to fight the strongest because he just wants to be stronger. So that's Ryu's whole storyline is he just wants to fight the best. To just get stronger. That's all he wants. It's not to be the strongest. He just wants to constantly improve himself. Heihachi is the one where I'm the king of the fucking mountain. I am the king of the mountain right now. Kazuya came and went, no, I am. All right, I throw you off of a fucking volcano and you're supposed to have died. You didn't die. You come back. You dethrone me again. I'm going to be the king of this fucking mountain by hook or by crook. I don't care. He just wants to be the king of the mountain. That's all he cares about. He wants to be the strongest. Ryu's one is more, he just wants to improve himself. Because he always knows there's always going to be somebody out there stronger. There's somebody who's going to be stronger. He just wants to improve himself.
That doesn't work very often. There's not, like, eventually there won't be somebody stronger than you.
Yeah.
If you kill everyone.
No, but Ryu doesn't kill everybody.
Ah, he's doing it wrong.
But
you know what? Fuck Ryu. He's boring to me. Give me Heihachi.
But with Heihachi,
first of all, he has amazing eyebrows. Second, he ages backwards for some reason. Third,
he wears a sumo diaper.
Yeah, he's basically like. Oh, my bad. He's basically what is that character's name? Mork.
What?
Yeah, Mork's super powerful. That dude's basically like the greatest alien who's ever lived. He ages backwards. He's fugly looking.
The hell is Mork from?
Mork from Mork? That's really Robin Williams? You've never watched that TV show, Mork and Mindy? Oh, bro, you should watch that.
I know you're talking. Okay, now you're talking about Mork and Mindy. Okay.
Yeah, his name is Mork.
Well, again,
there's only one show.
I don't know if you were talking. I don't know if they reused the name in something else. Because if you're talking about a movie or like an anime or something, and they reused the name, you didn't specify. You just started talking about Mork. I was like, so in my head, I was like, is he talking about Mork and Mindy? And then I was like, they might have reused the name in something else. Potentially, they could have reused the name, right?
But no.
Yeah, they could have.
No, because that would be if they reuse the name. It's just a reboot of Mork and Mindy.
No. Because
I'm pretty sure Mork is a copyrighted name.
Why are you going to copyright a name?
Because it's for the TV show. It's not a real name. You can't copyright the name.
No,
Mork.
But after a certain point, like it's open. It's open again.
I don't know what the law is.
Because the copyright thing, it's up to a certain time, which is why the same thing.
Unless you renew your copyright.
Yeah, but if you no longer are producing anything with that name, you can't really say you can't really claim ownership to it because if you never do anything with it.
Like you can't make, like, let's say there's no more Borderlands games, okay?
Yeah.
Then I come out and I make a game called The Borderlands.
Yeah.
I will get sued. And have to change the name.
Well, again,
there's an actual because I know there's a court case that
because of the trademark and a copyright. There's a difference.
Because it's a trademark name. I mean, I don't know, dude.
Well, that's because that could be.
The law that I did was accounting, so I don't know.
Yeah, trademarks last a lot longer, and it's a lot broader. So like, if you were to trademark like with Mickey Mouse, the trademark thing is supposed to be coming up like I think this year or next year, so they gotta go through the whole process of renewing it again. to extend it longer, so that you don't have companies that try to copy this character or
Oh,
something like
if
that.
4chan is
But
watching this, listening to this, try to see if you can get Mickey Mouse copyrighted under your name before Disney does.
they're not going to be able to.
No, of course not. Disney's super powerful, but it'd be
But
fun. Like the internet's very
no, but it's
powerful.
it's like but it's the same thing. Like you're like it's the same thing. Like what happened with the Aloha Poke thing? He tried to trademark the name. You can't technically trademark the words because if like say I was watching Mork and Mindy back in the time and I had a kid and I named him Mork, you can't say that I have to change the kid's name. So you could still use it in other creative properties.
So I can name my kid Mickey Mouse,
Yeah, you
and they
could.
won't sue me.
There wouldn't be any grounds to
I
because
mean, I
there's
don't know.
no
I don't
unless
know. Again, I don't know much
unless
about
you're
this.
unless you're constantly dressing up your kid like Mickey Mouse and taking him take because you can still use the word Mickey. You can still like use like the first name Mickey and his middle name is Mouse.
Can I name my kid? Can I name my child Hitler?
Yeah, you could. I don't know why you'd want to.
Mouse. Okay, cool. I'm looking it up right now. However, there are thousands of people in the U.S. whose last name is Mouse, although a Germanic name Mouse or Mauser, and anyone could name their child Mickey with impunity. While a court has to approve a name change, the name chosen by the parent when applying for birth. Fuck. Does he sue somebody for legally? Okay, sorry guys, this is like super shit content right now.
No, but that's the thing. Because you're not using the likeness, you're using the name, but because you're not, your kid is not gonna look like fucking Mickey Mouse. Like, so that's the thing. Like, that that to me is what it comes down to. Because you're not like if like I would say they had grounds to where if you're portraying the same character and the same name, Mork, right? Then that's grounds to be like, oh, you got to change your shit. But if you're just using the name as like or we're coming up with like we just want to use the name in it, but the character is going to be completely different. Nobody's going to confuse this Mark, or you like even slightly change the way it's spelled. They can't do anything.
Okay, no. So here's the thing. Okay. Um, the reason why I would say that yours is wrong in this sense is like with the kid, of course not. But if you're doing it in like for like a TV show or anything that could be
Confused with
considered
it, yes.
confusion or administrative inconvenience, then they could say no. So like something like the word mork in the first thing could cause confusion.
No, but
could cause confusion and
Yeah,
confusion.
but again, I'm not like in my
Again,
mind.
we're not lawyers, so
Yeah,
like
but in my
everything we're
mind,
saying.
when you're talking about Mark, it was like first thing of course came to mind was Mark and Mindy, but it could be a character name in like again like an anime that has nothing to do with like with the name Mark and Mindy. You can still use the name within it, and
Oh yeah,
but
but
that's why I was like when you're talking about stuff like that, or especially since we're talking about freaking like Hihachi and a fighting game, I assumed you're either talking about like an anime or something or like a movie that used the same name Mork, but it wasn't Mork and Mindy. That's why I was a little confused because I've never actually watched the show. I know of the show, I've
yeah.
never actually watched it, and I know Robin Williams was in it. But see, that was the thing. The name itself, because you didn't specify Mork and Mindy, I was like, oh, maybe he's talking about like a new anime that came out that has something like that or something like like
Yeah. I watch.
that's what I assumed.
You know, I don't watch much anime.
No, but it could be like just something that you saw, like it was like a preview that came out on something or like
Oh,
something
okay.
coming out.
To clear up confusion, if everyone's listening, from now on,
That's what
if
that's what
I
I
do
that's what I
say
got
a
messed up
name,
on.
just assume it's exactly what you're thinking, unless I just start to describe something or ask you if you know what I'm talking about.
Fair
Because I
enough.
usually do that. Like if I
Yeah.
know because I talk. Okay, here's the thing, guys. I am like completely different than D. Like we are literally two fishes from two different like ponds. Um, but like for him,
But
he's
like
more into
how
like
many shots was that?
not really mainstream things, but a lot more into the mainstream than I am. Like I have no social media. You do. I don't play a lot of the games that a lot of people do still play. You do. You know what I
Like
mean?
what?
Destiny.
The only reason I got into that because I was looking for
Apex, not Apex. What is the other one you play?
What?
Was it Apex? I don't
No,
know.
I've never played Apex.
You play a lot of like more like I've never played like Spider-Man, and the only reason why I
Well,
played Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Redemption 1 is because you gave me the games to
the only
play.
reason I played Spider-Man was one because it was made by Insomniac, and two, they're
They're
honestly
still around.
yeah, they made fucking stuff that they made the new Spider-Man game.
I didn't know that.
But the other reason why is because
No,
yeah,
it's never soft. I'm sorry.
the last Spider-Man game that everybody unanimously considered good was I think a Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation.
Was that the one with Doc Ock
Yes.
and Carnage?
I can't remember if Carnage
And you
was in
couldn't
it.
go on the ground because there was smoke on the ground killing people, so you could only play on the rooftops.
Something like that, yeah.
And whenever you use your web, it just hit a cloud, and somehow the cloud carried your body across.
But it was more because of it was how the web aspect worked when you're swinging. It was actually really fluid. Other games where they tried
Never
to
mind.
do it,
We're not talking about the same game. I'm talking about the original Spider-Man game, not the original, but the first one on PlayStation 1. Basically, the whole story is that there's gas on the ground that Mysterio did. All the Sinister Five or whatever. There we go.
Sinister Six, man, come on.
I don't know.
Spooderman comics, Sinister Six.
I do like Spider-Man. I'm not gonna lie, but
And you don't know the Sinister Six?
I didn't read their comics. By the time I got into Spider-Man, I was
My
so
God.
far behind. Well, first of all, Spider-Man was like one of his original creations.
But again, the only reason I got into the Spider-Man one is because I do like Spider-Man as a character, and I do like and I like the company as a whole. Insomniac, they make to me, I think they make actually really good games. To be honest,
Can you name other games just for me?
Insomniac, they were the ones that did.
Did they do Tony Hawk?
No,
That was never stopped, right?
that was Neversoft and Insomnia.
Insomnia. Okay, continue.
But I think they were the ones that did. If I remember, Infamous was Insomniac
yeah,
games.
okay, yeah, no, I remember that.
So
I actually really liked Infamous because it was a new superhero style game that wasn't so shitty.
yeah.
Because superhero games are so like.
Oh no, sorry, not Infamous. They did Ratchet and Clank.
Oh fuck! Never mind. I'm not happy.
Ratchet and Clank, but they did Ratchet and Clank. They did Spyro.
I played Spyro. Like my video game, like my love for video games basically died in like 2006. Like once I started high school, I didn't really get back into video
Oh yeah,
games.
they did Resistance too.
Oh, I played Resistance. That's the one with North Korea, right?
Resistance: Fall of Man, Resistance 3. They did Sunset Overdrive, which was I think only on the Xbox.
Never mind. That's not the one I'm talking about. That's Homeland, Homefront.
But I like Insomniac games because I like Ratchet and Clank. I like the open world feel that they were able to do, and they were there. I think they're one of the few that actually made. Everybody considers hands down a really good Spider-Man game because how fluid the web swinging is and everything like that is actually really smooth. It makes sense on how it plays.
Like I would be considered
So I think
casual online when it comes to video games. Like the video games I play is like we discussed this in our half a podcast that we stopped.
And probably will never release anyway since I don't know if we're gonna use it.
Oh, we can. We can just like come back into it and be like, hey, so if you guys are listening to this, this is the other half, and this is gonna come out after this podcast right now.
Because I think we've got like 45 minutes in that one.
Yeah, but that one's really good. I mean, it's good content on there. It's just we didn't have the time to finish it, and I don't think we can recreate that content. But I would like to get it out for our viewers. All of our three viewers.
We could put it as the lost episode.
Yeah. we'll probably and you know what, here, we'll keep it, and then we'll put it out as the lost episode if we do ever get big. And when I say big, I'm talking 200 subscribers. I'm not expecting a lot more than that. But
I want to at least hit 1,000 so we can keep growing it.
Yeah, I mean that terrifies me. Any more than 5 people knowing that listening to me scares the shit out of me.
Well, that's the whole thing about podcasts. We want to try and get our voice out there to everybody.
I said yes to this because you're my best friend. This terrifies me.
But even doing the gaming things, I guarantee you, once we start doing the gaming things, I think it's probably gonna take off a little bit more because people always like watching gaming stuff.
That's true.
So.
That's true. I'd like to live my life in anonymity. That's the reason why.
But yeah, you're still gonna be anonymous. We don't have to be on camera. Even if we stream, we don't have to be on camera.
That's true.
It has been proven that a lot of people prefer to see the person on camera because it's a little bit more personable to them because you know who you're talking to and stuff like that. and it's one of those things. But again, there have been like Twitch streamers or something that have gotten really big without even using a camera.
Yeah, that's
So
gonna
yeah,
probably.
so I mean, again, you have the capability to do so as long as we interact with our fans, as long as we're not ignoring the fucking chat and stuff like that some people do for whatever reason. I don't know why. Either they're just not paying attention or they're just that into the game, which could be another thing. But I think it'll help having two of us here. And, if one of us is really into the game, we can still answer questions. The other person can still answer questions if need be.
Yeah,
Which is why I think having at least a pair of people on a stream is a little bit better than a single person, because it allows you to still be a little bit more attentive to people within the stream, so they don't feel like they're just like there.
yeah. But
So
again,
you can
like I said,
interact
like
more.
who for like the video game side of this, it would probably be D more playing than me because I get bored very quickly. Like it'll be hard. Like I might play a couple levels, but it's not my thing. Like even now, like I would play with my friends on their stream, and like I'm so quiet most times unless I'm drinking. But once I'm starting to drink, then I don't care anymore.
See, also I think for me, it's not so much I play more mainstream. I play what I enjoy.
Well, yeah, no, but you play a lot of games though, and a lot of them
Yeah.
are like technically mainstream. But
Well, see,
like,
Destiny, I wouldn't like Destiny. I like when it first came out. I didn't even want to touch it. The only reason I'm playing it now is one because when it went to free to play, I was like, I want another shooting game that's not Call of Duty or
well, like
Battlefield, and I jumped
I'm
to it.
looking at yours right now, and I can see like a good like majority would be considered mainstream or what I would call mainstream, which is anything that is streamable, YouTubeable, or just
Any
extremely
game, any
popular.
game is streamable or YouTubeable.
Not really. Like
Like,
nobody's like lining
okay,
up to watch me play Suikoden. You know what I mean? It's one of my favorite games. I
well,
love it to death.
I guarantee you, if you play it, we're gonna get
You're
people that'll
gonna
watch
get
it.
you're
Yeah,
still gonna get an audience, but
but you can still stream it. Like popular games,
like you ever play a video game where it had like that one hairstyle that you're like, this is super ugly. Why do they keep putting this in here? Because there is one person out there who's like,
yeah.
yeah, they put that
But
hairstyle in there.
one a series of games that I could literally point out right now is Naval Ops. Not a lot of people actually played it.
Oh yeah, like it's the same thing like the Yakuza games. Like nobody's like screaming about those.
Oh hell no, dude!
No, actually, I said that just to prove to you that you do have a lot of mainstream games on there. Because I
Well,
wanted you to say
no,
something.
because the only reason with Yakuza, I got into it when the games first came out. This was even before it had a major following. I liked the idea of it. No, this was fuck being a hipster, dude. I like the fact that you were playing a Yakuza person.
Yeah, but then like 90% of this whole story is him trying to get away from it.
Yeah,
That's like watching a Hulk movie. The reason why the Hulk movie sucks is because of the, not saying that Yakuza sucks, because I also played it. But the reason why the Hulk movies suck is because you're sitting there watching the man do the one thing you don't want him to do, which is not turn into the thing you want him to turn into. It's like watching a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde movie, and it's only Dr. Jekyll, the whole movie. At no point does he go out at night, turn into Mr. Hyde, and push an old man over.
I could say it's the same thing like Batman v Superman, where you mainly only see him play Batman and not Bruce Wayne.
Again, you're right on that. No, but and again, I would say this to the day I die, man. Batman v Superman. The acting was really good. The story was really shit. That's my biggest problem with it. I don't care what people say, like, oh, he wasn't a good Batman. Yeah, because he wasn't fucking Batman the whole time.
But see, I would say like other games we have, like I have that aren't as popular again, like Naval Ops, Armored Core.
Wait, hold on. Before you continue with this, I want to ask you this because we just talked about Batman v Superman, and I want to keep this going real quick. My biggest question is this: did you watch Justice League?
Dark?
No, the live action one.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say that's what happens if Batman v Superman had good writing. You would have seen something like Justice League, where, like, at least for Batman, where
Yeah.
he was a good Batman. He was a great Bruce Wayne. He was a good Batman as Bruce Wayne. You know what? You know when Bruce Wayne turns into Batman mode without the mask on.
Because again, like I said, like if he had the freedom to do
exactly what he wanted to do,
then it would have came out a little bit
if he
better.
had the freedom to just ask his best friend Kev, I don't know if they're best friends, but his friend Kevin Smith to just sit in on the writer's room. Not even write the fucking thing. Just sit in.
Yeah.
Not forget, like Kevin Smith's a great director. He's not the best director. You know what I mean? He's no like Stanley Kubrick or
Steven Spielberg,
Quentin Tarantino. Not the Got Milk guy. Fuck him.
No,
Explosions. No. I'm sorry.
Mr. Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. Yeah, that's how he got famous. He got milk. He did all the Got Milk commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
fuck him. I'm sorry.
But I think
he ruined Ninja Turtles for me. The only thing that saved it was the fact that they put an Irishman as Bebop. It's the only thing that saved it.
But see, I think for me, because I don't know if you saw the announcement. They're doing the Flashpoint. They're doing a live action Flashpoint Paradox with Ezra Miller as Barry.
Oh, he's a great Barry Allen.
But they're bringing back Michael Keaton.
No.
So the thing.
Oh, I guess
because me, my brother, and our other friend, we're playing Anthem, and we're talking about it actually last night. So we were talking about it last night, and because
I just need to know who it was.
It was popping up on like my Google feed and stuff like that. I was like, oh, they're gonna do a live action Flashpoint. So I would assume that he may not be actually playing Batman. Granted, he's supposed, he would.
But he totally can because
he could play Thomas. Because in the Flashpoint Paradox, when he went back in time, remember Bruce Wayne was already dead. If you've never seen Flashpoint Paradox, spoiler alert, sorry, too bad. Watch it. It's been out for a while. Watch it. It's a great animated movie.
Okay, maybe like send this to me. I'll cut it. Or I'm gonna say it right now. Spoiler alert. Coming up in 3, 2, 1. Now I'm gonna cut that, and no one's gonna understand. I'm gonna leave it here, but I'm also gonna cut it in the beginning.
No, but because Michael Keaton is older, he could still do the Batman persona, but as Thomas Wayne versus Bruce Wayne.
He could still do Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, but again, like I said, his version. I actually liked his version. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was like the best version of.
I think Batman. George Clooney could have done a really good job if it wasn't for fucking Tim Burton.
And nipple suits.
I didn't understand that. And I didn't understand that fucking montage. Why'd you have to show his butt? Who gives a shit? Dude, he should be able to get dressed quickly like he's a goddamn firefighter.
Yeah. No, but with this one, we assumed that he was gonna play Thomas. He's gonna play the father as Batman, and we're trying to figure out who they would actually get to play Martha as the Joker. So that was the part we were trying to figure out too.
Who would play her?
So we were thinking, I was just naming off. I was roughly naming off generally semi older actresses, that could portray that hurt, damaged, crazy.
First sentence right here. I'll just start talking right now. So Dee's reading something that I found.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so they're basically saying that this is like a trusted source.
Because he could play a good Batman.
They're in talks right now of him being Batman. Which is weird because I don't think Batman was old in the Flashpoint Paradox, but I mean
he was.
Was he?
When he went back, this was because he was no longer the Flash anymore because he saved his mom. That was the whole thing. Saving his mom changed how everything turned out. He was no longer the Flash.
No, my question is, do you think he's going to be playing Batman?
But that's why I assumed he was, because in the beginning, you have Bruce Wayne Batman.
Yeah.
When he goes back and he changes it and he saves his mom, Bruce Wayne dies and Thomas becomes Batman.
Do you think it's going to be Twilight superstar?
So they said it in the same article. The director is actually separating it from the new Batman coming out with Sparkly Boy. And with CW and all of that stuff.
Look,
like that.
I had no problem with him being Batman. No problem at all. He has that dark and brooding nature in all of the roles he's ever played ever. That's literally the only acting style he really has.
No, he wasn't dark and brooding as Cedric Diggory in freaking Harry Potter.
Yeah, he kind of was. He was an asshole, which is already step
he
one
wasn't
to
an
be.
asshole.
Yeah, he was. He was a dick to Potter the whole time, and then felt bad, and then stole his girl like he's Drake. That's what he did, bro. And then he dies. But that's not a spoiler.
And take his body back.
This is an old.
Take my body back. And then he becomes a sparkly vampire. You die in Harry Potter, you become a sparkly vampire.
Yeah, no. And then,
how does that make sense?
Well, again, too, again, nothing against Twilight. Like the story wasn't that bad. I had a problem with how they portrayed vampires. Didn't have a problem with the storyline. The
You
storyline
see me
wasn't
for
that
how
bad.
I truly am. Sparkles.
Yeah, see, that's where I have my problems. Like, it could have been a better. My own personal opinion. I'm not a good writer. I'm not going to say I'm a great writer. I don't understand iambic pentameter. I don't understand how to write in trochee for poetry. You know what I mean? Like, I'm no Edgar Allan Poe or William Shakespeare. Reverse it, because Shakespeare wrote in iambic. But it's a good story. It's a good story. I just think like maybe like the only reason why she's like they sparkle in the sunlight, maybe make it where like they sizzle in the sunlight. You know what I mean? Like they don't explode because they've adapted for over many years. You could explain
Yeah,
it
you
that
could
way,
put it
but they
that way.
still sizzle. They still get injured from the sunlight. They get hurt like it's Oblivion. Again, another plug for Elder Scrolls 4.
No,
But they, you know what I mean? They could have done better.
yeah.
But I had no problem with him
No, no.
playing Batman.
The one reason why everybody says hands down. Well, I don't know everybody, but the good chunk of guys that read comics, hands down, don't think Robert Pattinson would be good for Batman, is because during this pandemic, and you have a lot of downtime. You can work out.
Oh,
You
is
can
this
do
the
whatever.
workout thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was just
like
gonna
you
say. Like
don't
my only issue is that
like
he
because
won't work out.
you look
for
at Michael
this.
Keaton. Yeah, he still worked out. He wasn't like super fit, but he worked out for it.
Yeah.
You had Christian Bale who fucking worked out for it. You
Oh
had
yeah.
Val Kilmer, George Clooney. Oh yeah, they're not in the best shape, but they still got into shape for the role because that's
Do
what
you like Val
Bruce
Kilmer's
Wayne.
one?
I mean, I think he did a really good Bruce Wayne. Batman wise, I would say he's 50-50, but he did a really good Bruce Wayne.
Did he have the neck suit? Who had the neck suit?
That was Michael Keaton.
That was Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Right? The one where he,
So Batman and then Batman.
if he doesn't have the neck
Batman
suit,
Returns.
I don't accept this as a Batman movie.
But
If he can't turn his head, it's a good Batman movie.
but
Where is it? It's up there. And he like moves his whole body just
but like
to
with,
stare at
but with Val Kilmer's one, like again, he wasn't like super fit, but he got fit enough to be to portray him properly. Robert Pattinson doesn't even want to fucking work out. You have downtime. We're in this thing going on right now where you have downtime. You're not going anywhere. Stop being a lazy fuck. Like, portray. Like, I mean, look at like Chris Pratt. He was fat in Parks and Rec. He got Star Lord. He worked out for that, for fuck's sake. Jurassic World. He worked out for that, for fuck's sake. He got fit.
He didn't even have to work out for it. Technically, he didn't. He just had to exist in the movie.
Yeah,
I don't think he worked out for it. I think he just
No, but, like,
kept up
with-
the regimen.
but like with Star Lord and stuff like that,
Yeah, I
like,
would
he
have
was
said that,
buff.
yeah.
Like, and because they showed him without a shirt on and stuff like that, like he got fit for that role. Especially in like Superman, especially with like Batman, you're gonna see him outside of the suit. Like you cannot be
Even the actor
fat
for
and
Superman
disgusting.
now, what's
Like-
his name?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. Like he worked out.
Yeah, for any
This
superhero
dude was
role.
thin as fuck in like a lot of the movies. And
Yeah,
I bet
but
not
for
thin,
any superhero role or like superhero supervillain, most times the actor would work out to kind of
no, there's
portray
some
them
there's some
properly.
superheroes you don't have to work out for. Somebody like the Flash isn't buff. You just
Yeah,
have
you
to like be fit.
Yeah,
But
you still
somebody
gotta- but like even look at like Hugh Jackman going
You have
being
to work
Wolverine.
out.
You have to work out for that kind of thing.
but
but because the character-
wait. Oh,
But because the character is portrayed that way, you gotta be fit. It's the same thing like Deadpool. Deadpool, you could be fat, you could do whatever, but you still have to have roughly the same type of body shape that the character is portrayed in.
what's his name? Firestorm? No.
Which one?
Flame On. What's his name?
Human Torch.
Human Torch. There we go. Firestorm is the dude who's like a student and a teacher, and they become a nuclear fusion reactor. That's DC as well.
Yeah.
But
But Human Torch,
like
yeah.
Human Torch. You don't have to work out. He wasn't buff.
You just have to be toned.
Well, of course, because
But,
all
like-
of them had to be
yeah,
toned
but, like-
because they were.
but if you look-
astronauts.
no,
Astronauts are pretty
But
fit.
if you look at Chris Evans as Human Torch versus Chris Evans as Captain America, you know he fucking worked out for Captain America.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. So like,
You're
you don't
playing
have to work out for some, but at least like
you're playing a major character. Don't get me wrong. Human Torch was I wouldn't say he's major. Fantastic Four was a major group, but I would say like just in terms of like the entire comic book world of Marvel,
individually,
he
they're
wasn't
not
like he's not a major like
but
Reed
as a
Richards something
group,
that
they
yeah.
are.
Reed Richards only came more prominent during the Civil War because of the whole thing.
Well, Reed Richards
But
was prominent in the beginning. Well, not really in the beginning because they didn't have a
But-
lot of crossovers in those
yeah,
books.
but you
he
figure
became-
you're not thrust into the limelight like you would be with the Avengers. You're not thrust into the limelight like you would be with the Justice League, kind of thing.
they did
Because
fight Thanos on their own though.
Yeah. but it's one of those things.
We shit on them. They're like the Nickelback of this of the Marvel universe.
But they lost to Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom killed them, and he's not on Thanos' level. Yeah, you can fight Thanos and survive because Thanos just might choose to just not kill you.
Yeah.
Doctor Doom killed the Fantastic Four. He
Not only
killed
did they
them
fight
all.
Thanos, they kicked Silver Surfer's ass at least a couple times before.
But again,
They
still
beat
Silver
the shit out
Surfer.
of what's his name?
Silver Surfer still. They beat him with the help of Silver Surfer.
Galactus.
Yeah, they had to use the cosmic power from Silver Surfer in order to combat him.
Yeah, and then
As a whole, they're garbage.
didn't he Silver Surfer hang out with one of the Spidey friends as well?
Yeah, it was It was the Amazing Spider. It was the older. Cartoon. It was the Amazing Spider-Man and Friends. It was Spider-Man, not Starfire, Firestar, which was a female, and Silver Surfer.
Yeah, and they all lived in Aunt May's house or something like that.
Something like that. It was a really weird.
Aunt May was like an idiot. She's like, oh,
Yeah, it was really weird.
Together, and then she never sees the whole house turn into
that was just really weird. But to me,
that was a good TV show. That was the best.
But to me, it's
Spider-Man one.
Human Torch again. It's not. You have to be fit. You don't have to be buff. Captain America, the way they portray him, yeah, he's supposed to be peak performance because of the serum. So you got to work out for that. Batman is supposed to be peak human form in a sense because of his training that he does. He's supposed to be fit. I don't know if the picture they showed of Robert Pattinson was recent when they showed it. He looked like a fat slob. Jesus Christ. Work out for the role. Don't give me this. I'm gonna crash course this bullshit and be utter fucking garbage because I'm not gonna act properly. Even just be at least a little bit fit so you can actually potentially do all the stuff. If you're just being lazy and going, okay, I'm gonna just get fit because I'm not gonna be doing any of the action scenes myself. I'm not gonna be doing any of that wide angle shots myself. It's most I don't even know if he's a comic book nerd. Most comic book nerds, if they were to come up to me and go, "Oh, you're gonna be Batman," holy fuck, I would work out till I was dead to be Batman, to portray it properly, to give it the proper respect that it deserves.
Oh, I don't know about Andy Serkis playing Alfred Pennywise. So yeah,
Is it Pennyworth?
or Pennyworth. My bad. Pennywise
This
is
is
it. Colin Farrell as Penguin.
I could see Colin Farrell as Penguin.
Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
Okay, see, that one is a little bit harder because to me now only stuff can play Commissioner Gordon. Fuck, what the hell was his name now?
Anyway,
Zorg. The guy who played Zorg.
they have the Riddler in here with the Penguin.
I mean,
Sorry,
yeah.
Too many kooky characters in here, and then Catwoman's being played by Zoe Kravitz. Which, if you're gonna say it, you say it the Jewish way, please. Zoe Kravitz. And I respect
Gary
that.
Oldman. See, Gary Oldman, I think was a really good commissioner. Was a really good Commissioner Gordon.
What do you think about Zoe Kravitz as a Catwoman?
It could.
Yeah, I mean, you had Holly Berry,
Well,
and she
Again,
did a
it's not
decent
even-
job.
honestly, I don't think I think the writing was absolute garbage. She could have. It would have been a lot better, but I think that movie was just hot garbage.
Oh
It
no,
was
the
just- it
movie
was
was
just shit.
garbage, but she did the best.
Well, yeah,
she
because
could.
the Catwoman moniker, you could honestly play. You could even do Black Cat, or the Catwoman moniker I think could just cover anybody because Anne Hathaway did a really good one. I
Yeah,
thought Anne Hathaway did really good.
yeah.
So with Zoe Kravitz, she's fit too. So I mean that's the whole thing. The character itself just has to be fit.
Oh, it just has to
And,
be flexible.
And if you portray them in how you would think they would be portrayed, that's totally fine. As long as it stays,
I want a good Poison Ivy.
that's the part that's a little bit harder. Because again, the last and only person that I've seen play fucking stuff was Uma Thurman. That was just hot garbage. Because Mr. Freeze was Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze was just shit. Because
So, but what was hot garbage about Uma Thurman's one?
she wasn't that psychotic.
No, but, I mean, I'll give her this. Let
For
me
one, she
just
wasn't.
adjust.
For one,
I'll
she
give her
wasn't that
this.
psychotic. For two, she wasn't. She wasn't out to like steal
She had
jewels and
like
shit like
the
that.
she had the sex appeal personality thing down. She just needed to be. Well, she's not psychotic per se. She fights for the green,
But
but not really.
Uma Thurman's she was just fucking nuts.
I
Like
don't remember very well now.
the way they portrayed it, she was crazy. Because the chemicals and stuff like that made her go insane. That was the whole
Again,
thing.
that was a movie made by a guy who's never read a comic in his life.
But that's why like that portrayal of Poison Ivy was hot garbage. Bane was a fucking retard. Like in that one. But Bane never worked with Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
And they did all this stupid shit. Poison Ivy never worked with fucking Mr. Freeze because Mr. Freeze freezes everything. Like, it makes no fucking sense that these people would fucking cross paths. Like, granted, they would cross paths because they're in Gotham, but they would never work together. Like, it makes absolutely no fucking sense. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was, I would say, he's his version of
Mr. Freeze needs to be
smart,
genius.
intelligent, and not have a fucking Austrian accent. I'm sorry, like he doesn't have an accent. Like
that's true. Well, okay, again, I could overlook the Austrian accent.
But the fact of the matter is, you also wrote in that you needed diamonds for your fucking freeze ray. No, he was a fucking genius. He was doing the crimes so he could fund his research to save his wife. That was the only reason he did it.
They made it sound like Mr. Freeze was what's his name, the Flash villain,
Captain Cold.
Captain Cold. Yeah, they made him sound like Captain Cold. I'm like, no, he's not though. He's a genius. He may have the same powers as Captain Cold, but Captain Cold can't handle his own stuff.
Yeah,
Mr. Freeze literally needs his own stuff.
But Mr. Freeze's only driving force to do what he was doing was because he lost funding to save his wife. That's all he wants to do is save his wife. That's all he wants to do.
Yeah, I respect that about him too.
Poison Ivy. She wants to save the world because she now is technically considered Mother Earth.
Well, she's a part of the Green.
She's a part of the Green, but she considers herself Mother Earth, so I can understand that.
Let's reiterate this though. The Green doesn't.
Yeah.
The Green considers her a soldier in the Green's army.
Yeah.
But
because you have Swamp Thing and all that, but she considers her, like I said, she considers herself Mother Earth because she has control over that stuff. But the way they're driven, the way they act is completely different than how they were portrayed in the movies. So by standards now, if you have somebody that has read the comics, yeah, you could. I guarantee you could do a really good portrayal of Poison Ivy. You could do a really good portrayal of how Mr. Freeze should be. I mean, don't get me wrong. Danny DeVito playing Penguin was actually really good. I actually thought that was really. I thought that was done. I thought that was done pretty good, to be honest.
Nothing.
It could have been a lot better. Don't get me wrong.
It could have been enormously better.
But it was still.
When has the Penguin ever drooled black sludge? He just calls himself that because I think he had normal hands in the books too.
No.
I can't really remember. I do remember he had normal hands in Scooby-Doo.
The whole backstory was he was actually deformed.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of him, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't like that.
Well, I don't know about the bleed. No, again, there are certain aspects of how Danny DeVito portrayed the character that I thought was really good.
Okay, yeah,
the whole thing running for mayor, the whole how he acted and everything like that was actually really good, and how is pretty much how the Penguin is, which it was a good portrayal.
I don't think he also had a Penguin army. I don't remember reading anything like that.
Well, not one to the point where he would control penguins and steal shit.
Yeah,
he had henchmen.
That's what I was gonna say.
He had pet penguins, of course.
Yeah,
but with his,
I don't know how, because no penguins would survive in that climate.
No, because he would always be in some type of frozen area. That's how he would always have his stuff.
Oh, okay.
He would always be someplace cold. That's what he liked.
I've never I've read the Penguin comics, comics that had the Penguin in it, as much as I read comics that had the Mad Hatter in it. You know what I mean? They're very much D-list characters.
Right. Even Jim Carrey's portrayal of
I thought the Riddler
was actually pretty good.
I thought that was pretty on
because he was already at that fine line between I'm super smart and I'm right on that thin line between smart and insane.
Jim Carrey is a genius. He did really well. As a comic,
he did really well.
He's a genius. He has very good timing, and he's the only comic that can.
Tommy Lee Jones' version of Two-Face, I think, was just way fucked up. That was just way
It
too
was
messed
more.
up.
It was more the one side than the other.
Yeah, it wasn't. He didn't play
But
both
to
sides.
finish what I was saying though, like Jim Carrey is the only actor who can overact, and it's okay.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I'm a huge. Like, I guess I'm not a huge critic because I give everyone credit where credit's due. I'm very nice about how I say things nowadays, at least. But he's the only one who can overact. I mean, he's the reason why that Sonic movie's not hot garbage.
But I think that's also another reason why, like with the Riddler, he was actually quite well because
they allowed him free reign, if I'm not mistaken. It was the same thing like Liar Liar. That was basically Jim Carrey's movie.
Yeah, they just allowed him to just improv, do whatever. And,
yeah,
but that's why I
think keep up with him. It's like Robin Williams.
But that's why his portrayal of the Riddler was actually really good. There were some parts where it was a little weird because like wearing like the spandex and shit like that. He
wore a suit.
Yeah, he was always a suit and the fucking pole.
Again, you can take liberties, man.
Of course. But like the actual personality, how he responded to things like that was really on point.
I thought Jack Nicholson's Joker is a really good idea of like the silver or maybe golden age Joker.
See the portrayal going through the Jokers, the portrayal of the Jokers. Yeah, I would have to agree.
Again, because throw Cesar Romero out of this running. Okay,
no, Cesar Romero's one was more.
No, that was all comic. That was all as a joke. Batman.
No, yeah. Again,
Batman's never climbed a building like that. Like not like how they always do, where they climb up and Lurch pops out. It's like, or they climb up and Green Hornet pops out.
Well, I mean, originally I'd say in the Golden Age because he didn't have the fucking the stuff.
Oh no, of course, yeah,
so he would have to climb up.
Yeah, so but like it was still comic.
But like with Cesar Romero's one, it was like I would say a classy. It's like a classy Joker. Because they were still there, like you're.
Yeah, but it wasn't like I would not put this in the realm of like comics.
I'll put it in the realm of the comics because again, it was there. I think at that time they were
he
still.
He wouldn't even shave his mustache. No, did you know that?
Yeah, but they were still developing the character as a whole, so it was still in the beginning stages of the character. So Cesar Romero was going off of like just a handful of stuff.
Technically, the Joker wasn't even supposed to be a recurring character.
Yeah. But
he was be killed off.
But that was the thing. That's the thing. He was going off of what they gave him at the time. So
they didn't have a lot though to give.
But his portrayal, I think, is a classy, fun version.
I would put that at the last. If we're gonna include it, that's
okay. Don't get me wrong. Just in terms of how, like, I just break it down to how they kind of portray the Joker themselves. Like for me, Cesar Romero is a classy.
You know what? Okay, wait.
Funny one.
Jared Leto. Then Caesar. I would put that because Jared Leto was trying to look like Tekashi 6ix9ine for some reason.
Yeah. But
Caesar would be next.
That's the thing. I don't want to. I can't say I want to put them into rankings. I would put them more as the classification of what I think the Joker, of what their portrayal of the Joker is.
I'll put them.
And you can put it into rankings if you want. But mine is Cesar Romero is it's a classy, funny version. You have Jack Nicholson, which was like a darker, classy. You got Heath Ledger, which was just darker, like dark with like funny.
Like, no, it was just dark with dark.
No, because he also tried to do like he also did some of the jokes and stuff like that.
No, I can't. I would put Joaquin Phoenix's one as like dark with another dark and then even more dark.
Yeah, and then Jared Leto's one is just like I don't know how to classify it because like he's not funny, he's not classy, he's not dark, like he didn't pull off the psychotic part either. Also, like
he didn't pull off the psychotic.
No, so Heath Ledger, I would say would be the dark psychotic. That's what Heath Ledger was more the dark psychotic.
I would say Jared Leto's a bit like stupid psychotic because like
no, to me it was like stupid flashy. Like he never fucking drove a fucking chromed out Lamborghini.
Well, he never drove a normal car in the first place, but like.
Technically,
I would
he did
put
an animated series.
I'll put it in not dark, but like psychotic, stupid. And the only reason why I put it in the psychotic era, if I'm gonna do it off of your ranking, is like as like looking at it through a psychological glass. Like this dude is psychotic. He has borderline personality. Maybe not psychotic, because if you have borderline personality disorder, you're not psychotic. But he had like just a cocktail of mental problems, just in general.
Yeah.
Like, I would put him in psychotic, but nowhere near the top that would be useful. Like, in my class.
So to me, if I had to rank them, like, honestly, to me, I think Heath Ledger, hands down, was actually one of the better Jokers.
I switched mine, because I know your second's going to be Jack. I switched mine. I'd say Jack was the better one, just because, like, Heath Ledger's one was like was good, was great.
Yeah, and even
I
even
mean,
the actor,
don't get me
even
wrong.
the
Now, I'll
actor in that
always
one.
be a Bane fan.
Yeah,
Not basing it off the movies, just in general, I'll always be a Bane fan. But I would give Joker credit where credit is due. Joker's always
see,
my second
Tom
favorite.
Hardy as Bane though. That one I would say it's really iffy to me because
I didn't mind it because of the fact that like
granted, like the way he portrayed him,
it's just a different version
yeah,
of Bane.
but in every version he's South American. He's highly intelligent.
No, in
and
every
he's a
version that
fucking wrestler.
happened up until then.
Like-
you know what I mean? Like, in every version, Batman's a good guy, but now he's the Bat who laughs. Is he not Batman? You know what I mean? Like, you like if you're okay with that, you have to be okay with him not being South American once. Because if it's an infinite amount of
because it's still
universes,
Bruce Wayne.
Bane is gay in one.
No, but it's still Bruce Wayne, and it's still the same. It's still the same ideology of
Then
how he
Thomas
got to be
Wayne is
Batman.
not Batman.
Yeah,
You know, we can never say Thomas Wayne is Batman, even if they wrote it in there, because technically Batman has to be Bruce Wayne. Is where I'm getting at. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
and because
But we all consider Thomas
that
Wayne
one
as
because
Batman.
that in a sense the Flashpoint. That's why it was a paradox.
No, it's still an alternate reality. Like you could still tap into.
But
it. They
it's
could still write stories on
in
it.
terms for me for that one, I would say it's not. It's another version of the multiverse, but it's not the. It's a alternate paradox version of the multiverse. So it's not the multiverse with the negative and like the with Earth Prime and stuff like that. This would be like.
Okay, what would you? Okay,
Because like, I would say the Flashpoint paradox
universe is the negative universe.
Well, see, I would say like with the Flashpoint paradox, it's another version of Earth Prime.
Because all
leads to like another
universes,
multiverse.
if you go to it, is a paradox.
So, but I would say it's not a multiverse in the sense where you have like the Batman who laughs and stuff like that. It would be more. It's more of another version of the multiverse with its own negative, with its own stuff. Where because it's still considered Earth. It was still, I would say, considered Earth Prime.
I would consider it a part of it because all parallel universes are paradoxes. Our universe is not a paradox to us, but all other universes are.
No, but see, that's the thing. Like with the
because you can never go to another universe. It's the reverb effect.
No, but the way they portray the multiverse is like you pick a choice and then it goes that way.
Yeah, he did pick a choice. His choice was to go back in time and stop a choice.
No, that wasn't really stopping a choice. That was stopping an event that actually changed the entire
all
layout
events
of the
are
land.
choices. You know what I mean? Somebody chose to do something that hurt somebody. All events are choices. I mean we're getting very existential with that.
There are some random things that could potentially happen, like on Law and Order. One of the things, if somebody's committing suicide by jumping off of a building, but then gets shot on the way down, technically it's considered a homicide, not considered a suicide.
Yeah, and it was designed that way. Like that's my thing. It's like either
no, but that's like a random act because technically I wouldn't know that somebody's like if I was to shoot you, right?
Yeah.
And you're and somebody else is jumping off of a building. I shoot you, but I hit the guy. I miss, and I hit the guy outside. I didn't know that guy was going to be there. So that in itself is that it is infinitesimal.
It's not homicide. It's manslaughter.
No, but it is infinitesimal to the point where having that happen is like a 1 in like a billion chance.
So then this is it then. Either everything is random, or everything is not random. But you can't have both in universe terms. Because if everything is infinitesimal, then that means that was a hard word to say with a long ass tongue. Infinitesimal. If everything's infinitesimal, that means that everything has to either be randomized or orderly. But they can't be both.
Yeah.
So which one is it?
There's no such thing as order.
So that means that all universes are either random or not. It's not designed by choice. Choice means order.
Yeah.
So which one is it? Because you said that the paradox universe can't be a part of the regular universe. But I'm saying it is because if all things are randomized, then all things, including paradoxes, are all a part of one shared multiverse. Choices mean order.
For me, it's still a multiverse, but it's I would say it's the only way I can kind of explain it, hopefully, is if it makes sense, is the skewed timeline thing from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So it's a skewed timeline where. Again, it's a multiverse. It's a version of the multiverse, but it's not within the original multiverse, as it would be. That's the best way I can kind of explain it.
Yeah,
Which is
okay.
which is why he didn't become the Flash, which is why Thomas Wayne was Batman and stuff like that, because the events completely changed.
Yeah, that again could be the reason why I was confused is because
Because it's still part of the multiverse, but I'm not considering it part of the out of the original ones as it would be. It's a skewed version of the multiverse. It still exists within the multiverse, but it's not part of the original multiverse.
okay, I understand where you're coming from, but that means that there are thousands of different versions of that as well, which
Yeah.
makes another multiverse, but you can't have two multiverses. You know what I mean? Like that. Like I
Well,
don't
again,
know. I
it's
think we're looking at it two
see,
different ways. You're looking
I
at it
wouldn't put it,
comic book
yeah, I
wise, and
wouldn't
I'm
put it
looking
in
at it
the, I
like
wouldn't,
physics wise.
well, physically, I wouldn't put it in the same, like, I would say, yeah, it's within the same realm of the multiverse because it's just multiple
Because the
universes, right?
moment you make a paradoxical
Yeah,
universe, let's say
it's,
that
again,
sits
still a
outside of a
multiverse.
multiverse, then that means that anything that anyone does in that paradox world creates a whole new
Yeah,
multiverse.
but that's kind of where I was going with, where it's not sitting within the original multiverse. It's
Mhm.
still, you can still tap back and forth between them,
Okay, so I do understand where you're coming
but
from.
it's a whole new set of choices changed the outcome of
Sorry for
everything
pouring
that
my
happened.
water. Okay, so I do understand exactly where you're coming from here. No, that's it. I was confused, but I do. I will disagree, but I do understand where you're
Yeah,
coming from.
but that's where I kind of went with
Yeah,
that one, where it was like that's the reason why he was no longer that he wasn't the Flash. He remembers being the Flash because he's from that version, but in this version of the multiverse, he's not the Flash because things didn't happen the way they should have happened.
because I would also say then like he can also not be the Flash in the same multiverse.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So that's why because
but that's why he wasn't the Flash in
no,
that
because when you were
version.
saying like no, not in the paradoxical universe. I'm talking in the main multiverse that you're talking about. There are thousands of universes, billions of universes, infinitesimal amount of universes where there is no Flash.
Yeah,
That means that Bane can be not South American. You know what I mean? Like when so that's where I can look at the movie with Bane and go, yeah, sure, guaranteed. He could be not as long as you keep some core aspects. This dude's a genius. He's a bad guy. He doesn't give a fuck. He does things to like like how he was taking over Gotham. The things he was doing. A lot of people were like, Bane would never do that. Yeah, he would. He's setting up decoys, fucking with the entire police force, dismantled an entire government, all within like 3 fucking weeks. You know what I mean? Like that's Bane in a nutshell. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And he broke Batman, which is the main
but the
thing you
entire
want.
but the
And he
entire
doesn't have to have Venom. He doesn't have to have Venom. We don't know at what part in his life he's at in that movie. Because you got to remember now too, this is Batman
yeah,
when he first started.
the
Like
generally the
all these
back
movies are Batman like 6 years into
yeah
his first start.
generally with Bane though it's because they wanted to keep they're trying to keep the same backstory again with
Yeah.
Talia. His backstory was he wasn't fucking born in a prison in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, he was. There was a rewrite. He was. Sorry, I'm talking to the mic. Yeah, he was. There was a rewrite. He was born in a prison.
Yeah, that's after they did the Tom Hardy one. The original ones was he
No,
grew
no,
up.
no, no. That's old.
No,
Yeah, because that's what I remember when I was a kid.
because he grew up.
That's why I like.
That's why he was South American. He grew up in the fucking favelas of Rio de Janeiro. He fought for everything that he got.
But again, you can have the entire Justice League with no Flash in one universe, right? Which means that he can be non-South American, living in a prison, and being just a badass from birth. In this
Well,
universe,
actually, by that standpoint, then
and Talia can still have the same background.
by that standpoint, there would always be a Flash. It may not be Barry Allen, but there would always be a Flash.
No, there'll always be a Speed Force, but you don't even know if there is going to be a Speed Force or not, because all universes are
No,
infinitesimal.
but if you look at but if you're going off of the Flashpoint paradox, Bruce Wayne wasn't Batman. Bruce Wayne wasn't Batman, but there was still a Batman. The events changed, but there was still the Batman. There was still
in that
there was
universe,
still a
but
Batman.
there's still billions of universes.
No, but that's the
don't know
thing.
about. Don't forget, there is no Batman in Lucifer's universe. There's no Justice League in Lucifer's universe. There's
That
no
would be
Flash.
considered like a negative universe.
Huh?
Because it was not considered like one
Nope.
of the.
Nope.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
the negative
666.
universes have negative numbers. This one was 666. So I mean that's right there.
Well, see that. Well, that's the thing. Do they try to branch out to show that? Because because it's supposed to be based off of Lucifer. You're not going to show anything else regarding anybody. Any
Yeah,
other
but
characters.
you
No.
would run into at least
Oh yeah, but it,
another superhero in any. Most people didn't even know that was a DC TV show. Look, I didn't know that was a DC TV show. I just assumed they made a TV show off of Lucifer, and I was like, "Hey, that's cool." They went the same
yeah, I
route
know
that
it
the
was.
comics
Yeah, I
did.
knew it was off of. I knew it was off of DC.
Oh, because they didn't
I didn't
have
know
that
how they're gonna
DC
tie it in.
tagline on
Yeah,
there.
because
That's where I was confused, and they didn't put Earth 666.
because they're not going to.
They
Because
should have.
you're gonna get all the fundamentalist Christian people. Oh, you can't show that
No,
shit
no,
on.
but they did put it in later.
Yeah, later on.
They put it in when they were trying to. There's no spoilers in this. I'm just gonna say they're trying to find a superhero. Constantine, Supergirl, and this guy who I wasn't keeping up with the
I can't.
whole
Yeah, I don't know who
Flashpoint
the hell that.
paradox of the TV shows. The TV shows were doing a good job with the Flashpoint though.
But it's gonna be Ezra Miller though. It's not gonna be the. It's not gonna be the guy from the TV show.
I like the guy from the TV show though. I thought he was really good.
But you know,
I do like Ezra Miller though. Like my wife and I are huge fans of him. She liked him in I think it was Fault in Our Stars. I didn't watch it. I wanted to read the book because I'm a huge John Green fan. But yeah.
But well, I think
We'll
I
leave
think
this also
it's
in
a
the.
good place to round it out.
We'll
but
leave this in the comments
I think
for you
I think
guys.
my last thought would be, don't get me wrong. I think with the way they're starting to go with the live action movies, they are getting better. I don't know how they're gonna pull off the Flashpoint paradox right now, because that in itself was the start of a great string of movies, all animated, fucking amazing. I don't know if they're gonna try and go that route, because if they try to, they got a lot to live up to, because that's hard as balls.
Well, I'll leave this in the comments for everybody. What do you guys think? We brought up a couple good topics. The first one is, well, I said the first one earlier, and I can't really remember it right now. Oh no, it was about what's the difference between, like, what do you consider a reskin compared to a palette swap? This one, the other two I'm gonna put in would be, do you think the new Batman movie is gonna be good?
With Robert Pattinson.
With Robert Pattinson.
We gotta make sure.
Not the one, because then technically that's not a Batman movie. The other one with Michael Keaton, that's not a Batman movie. So
Yeah, it's Flash.
the one with Robert Pattinson. I'll put a couple of questions in. Two, can Bane be from anywhere, or does he have to be South America? Does he have to follow the comic books to the T? Maybe not to the T, but like have to have majority of the things in the comic books. I say no. D says yes. The last one I'm gonna put in is, what would you consider a part of the multiverse? Like, do you side with D's side, where the paradoxal, and then there's two different multiverses? Like an upside down universe. I would consider that. That's a good analogy for it. Or do you go with me, where there can only be one multiverse, and it's just an infinitesimal amount of ideas? Like, there's 1,000 different Barry Allens doing 1,000 different Flashpoint paradoxes, all within inside the main universe, the main multiverse. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're probably going to be discussing this after we're done with this.
Probably. Most likely.
But, alright, guys. Be safe, be kind to one another, and, practice forgiveness and love.
Yep. And I know this is one of our probably longer episodes. We're coming up on 2 hours, 30 minutes practically.
Oh,
but,
shit.
Our
bad,
yeah,
guys.
so, hopefully if you sat through this whole thing, thank you. But yeah, just keep listening, and we'll keep putting out content as best as we can, and be on the lookout for our video game stuff coming out pretty soon. So we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.